Oh.
We are
Hey.
live.
Hello.
What's going on, everybody?
That took a long time.
Happy
I'm so
Saturday.
sorry.
Happy
Yeah.
Saturday.
Happy
Yes.
Saturday.
Happy Saturday night or Sunday morning, wherever you are in the world.
Yes.
Maybe it's Saturday evening. But
Sound check. Can everyone hear us?
Can everyone hear us? Yes. I want to make
Yeah,
sure you guys
give us some thumbs up that you can hear us
Still
loud
says
and clear,
that.
please. Give us
yeah.
some love
Yeah, let us know in the
shut
in
section.
the comments if you guys can hear us well. We know last time we were a little bit quiet.
Maybe we
Quiet.
just
Yeah.
have to yell.
We
Yell
tweaked
in
the
the
mic. So
Hopefully it helps. Hopefully it helps.
how do we check?
Give us a sign.
Hello there.
'Cause I don't-
They'll let us know.
Hello there. That's the beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, someone's
beautiful
how's our
hello.
audio.
There,
So
Ah.
Oh, happy Sunday
Happy-
for people who it's
1 a.m. Sunday,
Sunday
for
time
Ben.
already. So
Good morning, Ben.
good morning.
Josiah. Hello,
Yo.
Josiah.
Josiah.
Zakeem.
Woo woo.
Whoa,
Zakeem.
Zakeem is back.
Ben can hear.
can
Okay,
hear
so
us.
we're
Netflix
good.
says yes. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
they
Yes.
can hear us.
Awesome.
Yay.
Awesome.
Yay.
Awesome,
Okay.
awesome.
Awesome
All right,
stuff.
guys. Welcome to another MaJeliv Live. We hope to continue to make this a consistent thing. Today we
Yes.
are, as you saw from the thumbnail, going to be diving deep into Star Wars. There's been a lot of new Star Wars updates. The last 2 episodes of Mando were a lot. A lot to talk about, a lot to unpack,
Oh, yeah.
especially leading up to the season finale next week. And yeah, what else are we talking about today, Jem? We're talking about a lot about favorite character in Star
Yes.
Wars, Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, her
About-
new show coming out as well. A lot of exciting stuff that they've announced for Star Wars Celebration.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot to talk about. I mean, I know it's very interesting. Well, first, obviously, we've been watching Mando.
Right.
So how do you guys feeling about that so far?
Mando, I've
Yeah.
been loving.
Yeah, I
Mandalorian.
think Mando has been really fantastic. I definitely. It's been a while since we've had Mando. Since season 2, it's been a long time. Of course, it feels like it's been shorter because of Book of Boba Fett and the way that it ended with basically Mandalorian episodes.
Right.
So the distance between season 2 and season 3 of the Mandalorian doesn't feel as long as it has been. And so I remember specifically in season 2 that there were a little bit more of it's hard to get filler episodes in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But I do remember there being a little bit more filler episodes in season 2 than season 3. If you don't remember correctly, because there's that frog one, there was a lot more moments that were paced, because filler episodes, they're not really filling. We call it that because it's a side mission, it's a side quest. All of them they equally contribute to the story.
Yeah.
But we do call them filler episodes because they're not on the main story. So the only filler episode this season so far has been episode
Guns for
6.
Hire. Yep.
Yeah.
Which
Right?
is exactly. Which people can argue whether or not it was a filler episode. Some people think it actually was.
Well, the middle was a fill.
Right.
The beginning and the end. So the bottom and the top of the Oreo were
Yeah.
great.
Exactly.
The middle was. Of course, it's the opposite in that metaphor.
Oreo
The
reality.
middle is the better. If
Yeah.
you guys want to talk about that, you can go ahead and say if you like Oreos. if you don't.
Before we go on though, I do want to get some of these comments in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isra says saludos desde Chile. So sending
Hola,
love to Chile.
Hola.
Caleb, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold. Yeah. I mean, hey.
Yes.
There you go. Ben says he has work in the morning.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Oh man.
Well, thank you,
All
Ben.
this
for
forgiving
giving
that
me
you
the
Spend time
have
with
to
us. Thank
leave.
you
I
for
hope
joining
it's not
us.
too
Okay.
early in the
Hopefully
morning.
this is
It's 1 a.m. apparently.
hopefully.
For his work, I hope
Oh,
it's
for
not
his
that
work,
early. Although
hopefully.
that's still
Yeah.
good
You'll
night.
do great.
Let's see here. Do you guys think Mando will get a 4th season?
Yeah.
That all depends on I think where it's all going. Obviously
Yeah.
they've announced the movie that Dave Filoni will direct, which we'll get into later in terms of the future for Marvel. Marvel, listen to me. Star Wars
wearing
movies.
Marvel shirts, so.
Star Wars movies. But yeah, that's a possibility. Maybe a 4th season after Ahsoka, and that's kind of the space in between Ahsoka and that movie. I mean, it's definitely a possibility, but
Yeah.
we also, in the same way that we didn't know what the gap would be, who knows what the gap could be. So it definitely is possible.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how this episode ends.
Yeah, this
Seeing what
upcoming
they have,
episode.
like what they have to continue on or things like that. So
And the body double for the Mandalorian Din, he's talking about how this episode is like too sad and all
Right.
that stuff. So I hope that doesn't mean that the
Yeah.
Mandalorian won't be talking about somebody else.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I hope we stay with
Wait,
Din,
what?
but-
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I know.
But we'll see.
Wait, you mean the one that's coming next is sadder
Yes.
than the one we
Yeah.
just... Okay, but we just lost Paz.
Well, if you haven't seen episodes 6 and 7,
Which I imagine they're here.
You
Yeah.
probably-
I have a
Hopefully.
feeling you think...
I have a feeling every single one of you have. So,
Yeah. Well, Tomographic, thanks for joining us again. Love
Yes.
the Oreo analogy. Everyone's loving our Oreo analogy.
thank you.
Yeah.
Ben's
I
like,
want
how about
Oreos.
we turn how about we turn this live into an Oreo discussion? I mean, that's not a bad idea. Josiah really wants
I'm not
Oreos
down
now,
with that.
so
Darn it.
Yeah.
good job,
Me too.
Josh.
I want them too. I can't,
Yeah.
have 'em.
But let's see here. Let's see what people are saying.
I do love the question there from John. Is that John Duima?
Yes, I
What's
believe
the question?
About what we think about the Rey movie.
so. Okay.
Yes.
We'll get to that. Let's get to that in a second.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
finish with
Let's-
this
let's
topic.
close it.
Sorry.
So we will
Well,
answer
hold
your
on.
question.
One thing at a time. Yeah,
We'll
we
answer
can
your
see
question.
you. We're gonna put a
Said it in all caps too.
It's a great
I know.
question.
Yes.
But
it's a great
yeah, we'll
question.
answer it in a second. Before we go on,
Mom, I remember you said
I was gonna ask Mom. Yep.
What?
that the episode 6 Guns for Hire felt like a placeholder. I think it was.
Yes.
I
Yes, elaborate on that. We'd love to hear
So-
your thoughts.
Get a great
So
theory
I
on that.
promise that I said this. I'm not just saying it because it happened. But I did have this feeling that the episode they put in there was to kind of delay the episode a little, the series a little, so that they could make the big announcements that they made, so that the new things we learned in the last episode would be, would give a bigger punch. I guess would be more significant. The reveal of, he just went blank.
Jack Black, Christopher Lloyd.
No, Thrawn.
General Thrawn.
Thrawn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thrawn.
Thrawn.
Jack
Um,
Black and Thrawn are two
I
very
think
different
if
things.
they would have said that line where they're talking about Thrawn, not coming and not appearing. Moff Gideon was talking about Thrawn. If they would have had that scene prior to the big reveals in the UK and everything we got about Ahsoka, it wouldn't have been as significant as us getting that trailer first and finding out about Thrawn the way we did. Seeing the back of his head gave us chills. So I did
Right.
feel like that was the best way to reveal Thrawn versus him being in some random line in the Mandalorian episode. So I think they kind of realized, oops, we have a big event, a big reveal. We want to reveal that first before we reveal him in the series. And they just kind of filled it up with some fun characters like Lizzo and Jack Black and had a big, publicity plan to, sell
Good strategy.
Mando and
Yeah.
give us the big hype that we have now. So that's it. I'm getting off of my
No, that
No,
that
that
was
was
the thing is that
fantastic.
wasn't
Well
just
done.
a soapbox or a theory.
Yeah.
It was truly. I
Like
have to
you
agree
have a
100%
point.
with that.
Truly
That's what they
true.
did because
Yeah.
that's how it played out.
Yeah.
We had that weird. We were all kind of like, okay, that was an episode.
Right.
That was interesting. And then we had Star Wars Weekend Celebration. Star Wars Week. Did I say that right? Or is it
Star Wars celebration.
Celebration.
Weekend in the UK? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then it all made sense.
Well,
So
when
I-
Matthew was
yeah.
like, "Oh, they're doing a Star Wars event," and that's when the light bulb went off. I was like, "That's why they put that episode last Wednesday
Yeah.
because they're revealing something to us at this event that they didn't want us to know." Watching Mando, they wanted us to wait. And sure enough, then Thrawn shows up, and then we see the episode, and they mention Thrawn, and I'm like, this is why they did something like this with Jack Black, and they filled it with this more like, I don't know, it seemed a little odd that they would kind of stick that in there, a little side story.
I mean, not just Jack Black. I mean, they had Lizzo, Christopher Lloyd. Like
they had a lot of
Yeah.
cameos of celebrities.
it's a
So
lot of cameos.
yeah, so that's it.
No, it's
that
a good
was it.
question.
Hi, Saggy.
Hi, Saggy.
Sagi! I had a question to all of you listening to us right now about Christopher Lloyd. How did you feel about that character? And how do you feel that his presence and his approach, and to all of us, do you
That
think that
episode
really felt?
specifically, yeah.
In that episode specifically, do you feel like the character was? Were you surprised that he was the one behind all of the mishaps with the droids? Like, what were your feelings and thoughts on that? I'll let that question kind of float as we continue. But
It's a good
I was
question,
curious about
Yeah.
what the rest of you thought about that.
Meanwhile, we have some actually quite amazing puns I saw. There was there was something about scroll down that a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Where is it?
The Vapor?
No. The character with the most backstory is the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
And then if Darth Vader
Love
were to
that.
smoke, he'd be called Darth Vapor.
Very nice.
Nice.
Those are the kind of
One-
jokes that we like to tell.
One thing I did
That's
And
see.
if you go out in the rain, you get Ahsoka.
Soaked. There it is, ladies and
Ladies and
gentlemen.
There
gentlemen,
it is.
There it
That's our
is.
mother.
That is.
Yes.
That's
That was
beautiful.
awesome.
But somebody asked, and I saw it. Do you think they're going to reveal the spy and then the Mythosaur?
But he asked a
Um,
question about Christopher Lloyd, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but that's for them to answer.
Oh,
But,
right.
Um,
Well,
just
I
for
mean,
us
yeah,
to
because
kinda
we've
talk
kind of
about.
talked about it. But if you have something to say about that, yeah.
Well,
let's-
yeah, no, just really quickly, I think because we love the actor so much and the stuff that he's done, like Doc from Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the villain he plays in Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
Yeah.
that he, even though it's a evil villain, we still love the actor. So
Yeah.
for them to place him in a character where he's got double sides to him, like we're gonna love him no matter what. So
Yeah.
the stakes were kind of lessened in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think he deserved maybe like a better character, or but I
Yeah.
mean he did great in where he was. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
he's
no
Christopher
complaints.
Lloyd. I
He
loved
did a
it,
great
yeah.
job.
And
But I
also
agree.
too,
I can agree.
someone else also said that they think the episode was more of a like kind of a comedic relief, like Calm Before the Storm, because this last episode was pretty tragic and sad, and so it was also a very good comedic relief before all the serious stuff comes down.
Well,
Yes.
Mad Slanted Powers literally said.
yeah,
I think
that's what I was.
Defense for
That's what I was
Hire had some-
mentioning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
And Blockchain Comics says they could have used Christopher Lloyd for a much better character.
Yeah.
right.
So I respect that. I respect that. I
Yeah.
can definitely sense that. But it's nonetheless
It was a fun episode.
definitely very fun. Sagi, a little bit of a tangent here, but waiting for Oppenheimer. Yes, I agree, Sagi, that movie is very, very
Very
exciting.
exciting.
Coming out this
Oh,
summer,
my
I believe.
goodness.
So it's right around the corner.
Christopher Nolan.
And okay, here we go. Back to our question about the spy. Fedor says Axe Wolves is a spy, not
Yes,
the armor.
that's what you're feeling
Now,
as well.
the armor, I'll bring up the armor because I know we haven't really talked about this.
Yeah.
I was seeing it in some of our comments to our most recent reactions to episode 6 and 7, that a lot of you think that the armor could potentially be the spy, or that the armor is a red herring, because there's a lot of details or things that their armor does that are very suspicious, they are very sus. So it is very curious to see who it actually will be. And
Yeah.
people have the theory that Din's gonna get his helmet removed again in this last episode, because he's with Moff Gideon, and he's gonna be.
Yeah, I honestly hope it's the armor, just because I wouldn't see it coming, if that makes any sense. Like her being the traitor, it wouldn't make sense to me. But if there is a reasonable way to explain it, then it's very intriguing. Like why you've been here all along, and you've been
Oh, that would
part of-
upset me.
Right,
Yeah,
and
you're
that would
right.
that
I
would
think
be
you're
a
right. That
huge
would work
emotional moment.
on a-
But if it's this
Ugh.
guy, the wolf guy, what's his
Axe
name?
Axe Wolf.
Axe Wolf.
I mean, it
We
would
haven't
also
liked
make
him,
it
and
would
he's
also
just
make
been-
sense.
I mean, if Axe
so-
shows up to save the day and it is the armor, you know,
he was-
that would make
yeah.
like story plot like it would
Right,
just
from a
shock
narrative
everybody.
standpoint, I think that is a much better vehicle to tell the story. However, on an emotional standpoint, I personally would be upset that the armor would be.
Right. So I do
It
hope
would make
it's-
no sense to me though, because she's trying to reunite the tribes.
Well,
and-
I mean, it is kind of. I did
I
find
don't
it
know.
very sus that Axe Wolves
Hmm.
kind of when he exited before the whole Mandalorians are becoming infiltrated. He went up with ease, like he escaped and nobody was really shooting at him, or he just made it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But even then, in the beginning, they were showing how they were working as mercenaries. What was it? Like they were
Yeah,
just working
guns for hire.
people,
Yep.
guns for hire. So they could have just been paid a lot of money, and they're like doing this. So I mean, but who knows? I mean, they could have a really good explanation as to why the armor is the spy. If she is the spy, again, that would suck.
Yeah.
But they have good stories, so we'll see. We'll see what makes sense.
Yeah, unless she thought that the only real way to get Mandalore back is to ride the wave that Moff Gideon is setting up, and so she's secretly helping. She's secretly getting help from Moff Gideon, or so she thinks, and also getting Bo-Katan to unite the tribes under the Darksaber, and then I don't know. That would just not at some point that doesn't work for me.
She's the one who called Bo-Katan out to unite the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll
Yeah,
see.
I don't know.
We'll
I
figure
don't
it
think
out.
the armor would lure them into Mandalore to be destroyed unless that's exactly the reason why she
Right.
did it. Which would be very intriguing.
Which would be very and what's interesting
Right.
about that too is I actually saw
I'm not attached to it.
I haven't seen
I
it,
hope
but
it's not true.
Yeah.
people theorizing who the armorer is, like how we met the armorer before, and the armorer is saying that Death Watch no longer exists. Was the armorer part of Death Watch? Is that level of maybe Death Watch still is around, and the irony of that line of her saying that. So a lot of potential there with Axe.
Yeah,
Someone
she could be one.
She could, yeah, exactly.
Telling everybody
And-
no, they're not around to keep herself under the,
Yeah, Cuska Reeves also. Someone says Mark Broughton says Cuska's the first girl to say yes, the one that stood up first.
Right.
Her, yes,
So,
she
yeah.
could be.
Blaster
she was
Master
also
said
sus.
Grogu is the spy.
Obviously.
That's been the plan all along.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that
Why
robot,
didn't I
that
think of
robot
that?
suit.
Yes,
To me, Grogu's gonna save the day.
Yes.
That's my theory.
With his
that-
new-
with
Quite
his
the
I know,
opposite.
he's so
yeah.
cute.
His cool
Was very
robot.
fun though.
Yeah, his cool
I love it.
robot.
Oh,
what do you
man.
call it? Like extension.
Yes.
His vehicle. That's such a cool thing
Yep.
they did.
Some people think that Bo-Katan won't make it, or Bo-Katan. That's actually that's a question.
That is a debate.
Let us know in the chat.
Is it Bo-Katan or
Is it
Bo-Katan?
Bo-Katan or Bo-Katan?
Ooh.
Let us know your thoughts in the
Bo-Katan.
comments.
I like Bo-Katan. What have I said? Bo-Katan. I don't think I've said
Bo-Katan?
Bo-Katan in the
Bo-Katan.
reaction.
It's like saying
Bo-Katan.
pecan or pecan.
Wow.
It's all good. It's
Sorry.
all good.
We have a camera
We
disconnect, but we'll
just
be
got
good.
unplugged. Oh, it's under the leg of the thing.
I see it.
Sorry.
Oh,
we're back. There we are.
Sorry.
Sorry. We accidentally.
Matthew kicked a cable.
It's a tight
But we're
space.
good.
We're good. We're good. All right.
Oh, man.
We're good. All right. We
Okay,
got
all
some
these
highs.
chats.
Yeah, we have some.
Hi, Paulita. Hi.
Hey!
You guys are amazing.
Paulita.
Much love.
Yeah.
A lot of okay. So Shorty says, how heartbreaking would it be if now a captured Mando gets his mind erased and completely forgets who he is and doesn't even remember Grogu?
Oh gosh,
man,
no!
that would suck.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
Oh, come on, no.
And he's gonna become like a bad
No.
I don't know.
No.
Shorty. That's actually
Oh my
that actually like
gosh.
that
No.
hurts. That hurts to even consider. But
Right.
that
But wait,
That
he's
would
so
be really
far away
sad.
from.
who knows?
Well, because they just introduced that whole mind wipe thing, and Elia did,
Man.
I mean, he got.
So
he got
And someone
full
thinks they could kill off Moff Gideon in the next episode. The reality is, so much is.
I think the
impossible.
only one that could kill Moff Gideon
It's
is
Thrawn.
Thrawn,
It's Thrawn.
and that would be.
But I would save that for the last episode,
Which
not
is-
the next episode. I don't know.
Tomorrow is the last episode.
Tomorrow. You mean
Are you
Wednesday?
Sorry,
sure?
not tomorrow. Listen to me.
This
Wednesday.
upcoming week, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
episode
wish
8.
it was tomorrow.
So I was hoping maybe because they added that Jack Black episode, maybe they'd add an extra one at the end, but maybe not. Maybe everything's gonna fall apart on Wednesday.
Yes.
Oh no.
Gosh,
Oh,
now
man.
I'm scared for Wednesday. I don't know
Yes.
if I want to.
Well, if they do a good job, if you've been following our channel, I'm probably gonna be a mess. If they do a good job, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna probably cry. That's gonna be a good sign that they
Yeah.
rocked this
Yes.
storyline.
And we're gonna have to watch it
and
like
brought
first thing in the morning, or
Yeah.
it's gonna get spoiled for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, good point.
Welcome back, Omega Zero. Thanks for joining us again.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Let's see here.
Good afternoon,
Um,
C19 Parasites.
Parasites.
Omega Zero.
Hello.
That's such a cool name. I like that.
I think there will be a tragic event in Mando and with a huge cliffhanger.
Level 2
He will
training.
return
set.
in Ahsoka have something to do with his blood that was taken from him when captured by the insect droid. Fascinating.
Oh,
Hey, thank you.
Thank
Look
you.
at that.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
Jermaine.
Thank you, love from
Jordan.
Athens, sending love back.
Hey,
Athens,
Athens, Georgia.
Athens, Georgia.
Woo, thank you. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, that's fantastic.
let's see here actually. Omega, first time chatting with your whole family. I remember y'all's reaction from Rise of Skywalker trailer. Sub to your channel from that reaction. Yes, that was quite the thing. Somebody asked much higher up about the Rey movie. I don't know.
Yes.
We'll talk about that in a
yes.
second. But the only reason this specific question will kind of stay in this
yeah.
about Grogu being trained by Rey. Because Grogu has to do with Mando, let's just give a quick answer. I personally think he will be trained by Rey,
That would
just
be really
because
cool.
he lives for so long, and that would only make sense. I think would be the best thing to do to kind of fuse it all, and it only makes sense. I think it would be a missed opportunity if they wouldn't do that somehow.
Will Grogu have a voice?
I don't know. And what would
I
his
think
voice
that
sound
would be
like?
really funny.
Yeah.
If they come back with a...
Well,
'cause
it has to sound like
starts
Yoda.
to talk.
Yes.
Like something like that. It doesn't have to sound like Yoda, but
Similar,
his speech or something like
reminiscent
that.
of.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be very curious. to
Um,
see.
somebody said...
Josiah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you
for it.
go.
Josiah asked, "Do you guys think we will ever see Grogu with the Darksaber?" Huh.
The Darksaber's huge.
If he can hold it,
Maybe he can
I
hold
think
it.
so.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe with his new robot body, yeah.
Oh, that's
he
true.
could
He can
definitely
easily
do that.
Oh, yes.
That would be really cool.
I actually think he
Definitely.
might pick it up at some point in this last episode.
But then that means he rules Mandalore.
I mean, just to help somebody live. I'm not sure. At some
That would
point.
be interesting.
Somebody said Omega Zero. Yeah, that I blame J.J. Abrams for ruining Star Wars. I think a very short answer to this would be I think his love for Star Wars was incomplete in that he didn't appreciate the prequels as much as he should have. There was not a lot of mention of the past and bringing back practical effects and not as much CGI. Everything needs to be built. And so there was kind of this salt towards the prequels and Clone Wars, but that is Star Wars, the prequels and the original series that began it all. That's all George Lucas's vision. So you have to listen to that. You have to stay true to that in order for what you create to be good. So that's a very...
I would like to add to that. 'Cause
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's very easy to just point the finger at J.J. Abrams and then it's all his fault. I think that's a very easy thing to do. I think the thing we have to do is, what was that? Is
new
that
subscriber.
Hey, subscriber, thank you.
By the way, we have alerts on this live, so if you become a member or if you support us through Super Chat, you guys we will get a notification and your username will show up on our live.
Yes.
So
Wow.
just so you guys know, if you guys want to
Get it done.
do that to
Showcase.
have a little bit of fun,
Definitely.
but
So I was
Just so you guys
saying
know.
the concept of it's J.J. Abrams. I can understand that emotional response.
Yeah.
I fully understand it.
Absolutely.
However, we don't know who or whom or what group of people when they bought Star Wars property, when they bought Lucasfilm, whoever decided to completely ignore everything that George Lucas was potentially pitching to continue, whoever made that decision, it's their fault. They're the ones that ruined what could have been a much greater series, a much greater sequel situation. Because guess what? If you don't do that, then when J.J. Abrams comes in, you tell him, hey, J.J., so we've got this laid out. This is what we want to do. What do you think? He would have said maybe some things like, do we really need to have some of the prequel stuff there?
Right.
And then somebody with a little bit more power would have said, yes, we need to have the prequel stuff there because it's fundamental. Because George Lucas said it's fundamental. But nobody did that. Nobody said to JJ, no, you can't do that.
Well, there was also like kind of a change in creatives as well in between movies.
Right.
Like there obviously wasn't even a confidence fully in the story.
Right.
But kind of learning from the way the prequels happened, because the prequels weren't bad. They were just a really big gap. Dave Filoni filled in the gap. So it's like, here he is again
Correct.
doing it with the
Correct.
sequels. So
I personally love
Blockchain comics,
J.J.
you're right.
Abrams direct. I love J.J. Abrams as
That's
a director. I think he's great.
Blockchain comics.
I think J.J. Abrams is a great
legit.
director, and I think that there was a lot of potential with his movies. Like you said, that there's probably a lot of executive decisions that were made.
Yeah.
But Blaster Master made a good point, and I agree with that. That up until that movie, and this is the interesting thing about Star Wars fans, is Star Wars fans can be so like they can just they're so
the
unpredictable. Yeah, with the flip of the switch. At times we can be hypocritical with our opinions, with what we like, what we don't like. Extremely toxic, extremely just hateful. I mean,
Which is so
you
sad.
know, exactly to certain actors, regardless of whatever it is, whether it's Ahmed Best or the woman that played Rose. Like we just know
we're
hating
all Star Wars
Christensen.
fans,
We
so,
go from one second of hating someone to
we've
then
done it
loving
before.
them. It's just it's a lot of that, and I think it's always been a really unfortunate reality of Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
But I say that to say that before the sequels, people weren't raving about the prequels. It was always again this disappointment, and it wasn't until we got the sequels that people were like, now starting to kind of acknowledge and be grateful for what we already had, what George Lucas had created. and it's not, so I think it's a perspective thing, and especially with the way that the prequels were received, because they weren't well received fully as well as the originals were. Of course it is that response to, let's just stick to the nostalgia, the original stuff. Because I think Blaster Master, you have a point. I think the people that at that point that were vocal about the prequels being good was a small minority. And now I think with the success of Clone Wars in the midst of that.
I mean, we watched Clone
as well
Wars
as
fully
Rebels.
during the pandemic,
We
so
binged
our love for the prequels has
It's
increased
insane.
since.
Definitely.
But Paulita,
Thank you,
Thank you
baby.
so much.
Yay.
We love you so
Thank
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Carlos, we love
Yes, thank you,
Love you
thank
guys.
you.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Hey.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Thank you so much. Thank you. But yes, so I think it's a very interesting thing. I think the biggest mistake with the sequels is that they didn't mention Anakin's name once.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like the
like-
he who must not be named. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it was like
Anakin
seriously.
is not Voldemort.
Even
okay?
there's even like, I think maybe it was a joke at this point with the last episode of Mando, where right
Yeah.
before, Christopher Lloyd's character was gonna say Anakin's name.
Yeah, like why did you have to
Bo-Katan
wait that long?
Yeah, it's
Like,
so.
Yeah.
It stays
Yes.
in,
Some people are saying goodnight. Looks
Yes.
like
Yes.
some
Oh,
people
good
are
night.
saying-
Good night. Sleep well. Hope you guys
Please
sleep
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
spending a
for
little bit
joining
of time with us. We really
You can
appreciate
watch
it.
the
for
conversation
visiting.
And
tomorrow.
spread your light.
Yes, spread your light.
Yes.
Have a good night.
But new subscriber.
New subscriber, look at
Let's
that.
go.
Thank you for subscribing.
Oh,
Your
I love
name
that.
is
It's a
now a
beautiful
part of this
sound.
video.
Beautiful sound.
Nice
really
little
nice.
sound.
It's like,
Oh yes. All right. Any new comments? Any new?
Yeah,
any
we
new
have
great?
we
Quite a
have
bit.
quite a
Just
bit.
gotta go back and see what we see here.
I mean, Blockchain Comics, he agreed with it. I mean, he basically said what you said, which J.J. Abrams is legit. It's Disney that made bad choices. And so
And
I
it's
think
something
that's a good point.
Something that Jermaine King said as well, of Disney not having a set plan for the trilogy hurt the series as well.
Right.
I think they didn't know fully what they were kind of maybe putting themselves into, or like the whole story just wasn't fully structured and planned out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been exciting that Star Wars has been so silent for such a long time and low key, because you can tell they're really planning it out. So I'm excited to see now what they're gonna do with all of it, and also with different business changes. It's just hopefully it's all coming together. There is hope. There is hope in Star
Absolutely.
Wars.
Yeah.
There's always hope.
Yes.
Let's see here.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Oh my
Oh
goodness!
my
Thank
gosh.
you. Thank you.
Brenda.
Thank you, Brenda.
Brenda.
Wow.
so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
We
so much.
appreciate
That
you.
means a lot.
Bless you. That's
My goodness.
amazing.
Brenda.
All right, Brenda's stepping it up. It's making me cry.
Thank you. Wow.
Let's see here.
Thank
Mark.
you. Thank
I'll blame
you.
the pollen and also the joy.
Yes.
But thank you.
Yes, thank you. Double whammy. Thank you so much. It really means a lot. The support really does go a long way.
Yeah.
There
The
it
support
is.
goes a long way, and it helps us to keep doing what we do for you, and to
Yes.
just keep making the best content that we can get out for you guys. It's
Yes.
just, we love to do this. We love to share this with all of you.
Absolutely.
And Josiah, thank you for visiting us. We owe you a video. We will
Yeah,
get that to
yes.
you tomorrow.
Definitely.
Thank you, Josiah, for being here. We know you have to
Yes.
get going, but
Oh goodness,
you're
Josiah.
always so present. and we
Yes.
appreciate
Look out
you.
for a video
Yes.
from us soon.
Thank
Yes.
you.
You're
It's coming.
amazing, Josiah. Thank you,
Yes.
thank you. Keep
Yes.
writing. By the
Yes.
way, keep writing, Josiah.
Mark Broughton, I hope I'm not mispronouncing it, but you made a very good point. It's just what I was trying to say in one of our reactions, and you said it right. But do you think the armor is a Zabrak or Darth Maul loyalist with the horns on the helmet, and now Moff Gideon? And honestly, I don't think that's far from a possibility. I think the
Darth Maul
horns are
loyalist.
not just I don't think the horns are like just
She's the only one who
You
has
know.
them, doesn't she?
her. Yeah.
It could
And
also be
her
just
and Moff
to
Gideon.
be. It's kind of like a counter argument.
Yeah,
you could
it's
have
good.
the fact that
So-
she's just kind of about the mythosaur.
Mm.
There's that too. It could be resembling that, or very much like what you said.
Yeah.
I personally feel, I think I said this in our reaction to episode 7, that
Yeah.
Moff Gideon just put those there because he knows that back then they had a significant power in Mandalore, and there was a time at which it represented power and dominance, and
Yeah.
I don't think he understands what Darth Maul did and how it conquered and destroyed Mandalore, and so he just threw them on his helmet because he just
Yeah.
thought it looked cool.
It is
That's-
concerning.
that's
It is
why.
concerning that the armor has a similar design, though. That's an interesting
Yeah.
detail there.
It is funny though, because I know Moff
Concerning
Gideon
detail.
is gonna be a big threat, but it's like I almost can't wait to see Admiral Thrawn put him in his place,
Yeah.
because he does think he owns the galaxy at the moment when he doesn't. So I'm very intrigued to see if we will also, because I know people are saying maybe Admiral Thrawn will make a cameo in this coming episode. I'm not sure. That would be really cool if that would happen. But also, it's just, it's very, very exciting to see when it's all coming up.
A really great collision between those two.
He was a big threat in Rebels
baddies,
as
yeah.
Well, anything could happen because they revealed so many things at the event that we really don't know what they're going to set up, but it's going to be big.
New movies and TV shows, and it's very exciting.
Nexus Media Podcast, great question, because you're right. They haven't yet confirmed who rescued Moff Gideon from his ship. I imagine that would be... I think that's going to be revealed when we find out who the spy is, perhaps. Because I do believe it is someone Mandalorian.
So unless someone happened to have Beskar steel in their closet.
I see a lot of comments about... Yes.
I highly doubt it.
I see a lot of comments about the executive side of Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy, Jon Favreau, and
I'm afraid Jon Favreau will leave Lucasfilm.
A lot of people saying
where would he go, man? I mean, you're telling Star Wars stories. Why?
Personally, it's a lot of that executive stuff. I mean, it could be true. It could not be. I think the only hope is that there's able to be a very... how do I say this? A very well thought collaboration, a very, like you were saying, that a mutual collaboration where there is a sense of understanding the legacy of Star Wars. And I think if they can all get that, then Star Wars is in a good place. And I would hope that they're learning from their mistakes. I think there is a bright future with shows like Skeleton Crew. That show does look very interesting.
Yeah.
The fact that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have kind of called it like a Stranger Things in space. They're trying to give nods to like Goonies in space, giving a nod to those like adventures, those 80s adventures movies. I think that's very interesting.
I did want to point out something. Blockchain Comics, I don't know if you were responding to me saying where would Favreau go, but you said Marvel. So I actually thought about that. Like, he made Iron Man. Like, why not bring him back to iron out some characters? And I didn't mean to do that.
They're probably having him come to save the day. I mean, they do need some help.
So he could go in that direction if Disney wanted to point him that way, because that department does need some help.
Does he have an equal amount of passion and vision, though?
That's the question.
And does he fit where Marvel is going? I mean, there's just no way for us to know that. Only John and Kevin Feige will know that.
Right.
And maybe they'll have their meetings. But I feel like I feel like a good extended amount of time, Jon Favreau is going to be very much involved in what Star Wars is doing. And I think that's one of the reasons we can have a lot of hope. Also, Dave Filoni is there. But I have a feeling if those guys are kind of leading the way, if they bring in new people, that are equally on fire and respect the source material and how that can organically grow, then Star Wars could be in really great hands. The fact that they've allowed George Lucas back on set, that just makes every sense in the world. I remember watching the features of Star Wars when I first bought the DVDs, ages ago, and seeing the featurette of George Lucas flipping through these yellow pages of a notepad, starting out, fading in, writing out his first draft of the very first Star Wars ever. It's you can't ignore that. It doesn't make any sense to ignore that.
Yeah.
If you do ignore that, you've decided to put an endpoint to what Star Wars could be. So hopefully John is not going anywhere for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
I think I agree with everything you say.
I think the only thing Star Wars is missing is one of us to be in it. Or all of us.
That's the prayer, with God's help.
Yeah.
That's been the dream since
Oh my goodness.
I also feel like
that would be amazing.
Dave has such a great understanding of what needs to happen in Star Wars, and I feel like if Jon Favreau's such a brilliant mind as well, which he's shown to be, like, why not maybe divide and conquer and do something good for Disney and help the Marvel franchise a bit? I mean, he probably would, because of the love he has for it. He probably will want to step in and be like, I know how to fix this. Let's work on this and let's bring Marvel back. So,
well, another thing, I think they need to maybe shake it up a little bit, because I do feel like we've been watching superhero movies and stuff like that for a long time now.
Yeah.
And I think everyone is just ready. Not anything against superhero movies, but I think everybody as an audience is ready to see new and more unique stories, even if they are superhero movies.
Yeah.
Something different. Something
And I'm trying to think of the other. I mean, I know he
more
played.
creative.
I know he played Happy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but the only ones he's really directed are the Iron Man movies, right? From what I know. So yeah, just curious.
I think he
don't
just
know
did
if
the
he
first
directed.
one.
I think he only
Was
did
it
the
just
first,
the first
one.
one?
I think
He directed the first one,
And then he was just the character Happy, which is
so
like
he didn't
Iron
really
Man's
have
sister.
much to do with them.
Not as much, I don't think
That's
so.
interesting.
But right now, I think also they're kind of going through a creative roller coaster at the moment.
We're also
They're just
speculating.
it's all speculations, but
Yeah.
I think he's doing great in Star Wars, and he just keep up the good work, John, because you're doing great.
Yes.
So
Confirming the directing situation.
Yes. Let's see here.
Do you think the
Any
quality? I'm sure there's
Well,
questions
so-
in the middle, but
Yes. Before you say that, sorry. A little quick plug in. We will have before we end this. We will have like a live Q&A section towards the end of this live. So just if I know you guys are asking some questions that are not random. I know you guys are asking them, but yes, they are not really Star Wars related. But we will get to them or kind of try to answer those towards the end.
So quick
for
update.
sure. Yes.
Jon Favreau directed Iron Man 1 and 2.
Okay.
And what else?
Not 3.
makes sense.
After that, he did
Other
Nothing
things.
as
Marvel
far as Marvel,
related.
nothing.
Oh,
he moved
okay,
on to
so
other
I
things.
take back what I said because he didn't do very many. Then.
He did 1 and 2, and then moved on to
he just
other
acted.
And Blaster Master said Favreau did the first 2 Iron Man.
So yeah, he needs to be in Star Wars.
Same wavelength. Whoa.
Triest said, "Do you think the quality has dropped since season 1 of The Mandalorian?" My answer to that would be they're taking more risks.
Yes.
No.
And why? Why is that, Josh?
Well, I mean, the thing is like there's some sequences in season 3 that we've seen that, I mean, that jetpack chase with that dragon and getting the youngling.
Insane,
They're
yeah.
bringing
The
Clone Wars
foundling.
to life, basically.
The
with
scale is
action.
definitely a lot bigger.
The scale is a lot bigger. There's moments where I don't feel like they're in the volume. There's moments that I feel like they're actually outside.
on location.
On location,
That's
even
sick.
though they might not be.
That's
It's
amazing.
just true magic when you are doubting what
mean,
you're
it's
seeing. Is it
ILM,
like, is
man.
it? Yeah, it's ILM. So they've definitely found a way to use the volume, but also go even further beyond that. Take risks. They don't write just restricted to what the volume has to offer. They write what they need to write, and they're going to figure out how to do it, which is what ILM has been since the beginning.
Yeah.
And so you could definitely tell there's a passion and a love for the things that they're creating. It truly is something they care about, every single developer. And the team is small, and they I mean, relatively small. And they care about what they're doing. I mean, if you're able to, like, if you're passionate about the character Zeb, and you're able to, like, animate him.
Hey,
We have a member.
Hey, Jermaine King, thank you so much for
Jermaine,
becoming
thank
a
you.
member.
Thank you for becoming
Yes, you got the
member.
Ewoks dancing, so thank you.
The Ewok is so happy
Now
that
you
you
get to
joined.
watch some watch-alongs
Yes.
with us. You'll get to see
Yes,
some
yes.
uncut watch-alongs. That'd
yep.
be fun.
Looks like you put,
Cool.
looks like Jermaine put the little Jemmy emoji we got there.
Jermaine King, welcome
Yes.
to Ignite.
Welcome to Ignite. Yes, welcome to the MaJeliv membership.
Sweet.
We'll take this little bit to just plug in our MaJeliv membership. Sorry,
Yeah.
I went
And he
blank
used
there.
the emoji.
Yeah, you did.
Little emoji, yeah.
Made by
just,
us.
Just know that you guys becoming a member really does help us out, and it really
yeah.
means a lot to us. So thank you, Jermaine, and thank you anyone else that is considering a membership, a MaJeliv membership.
We do have uncuts of all of the episodes
Yes.
of Mandalorian. You
And
have
The Last
to just
of
watch
Us.
along with us,
Yes,
but you
it's a
do
watch
get to
along.
see the full reactions
Yeah.
uncut.
Yeah, and I always put there in
Crazy
that
deal.
in the description of that. The more of
Check
you
it
that
out.
sign up as members, the more we get to do this consistently, and you get more of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's huge, Jermaine. Thank you so very much, and
Thank
hopefully
you.
you enjoy what's there now and what's to come, because we have
Yes.
a lot in mind.
From
and in
there,
store.
it's a lot of just the exclusive uncut watch-alongs. Sometimes pre-screenings to other videos or like to our short films as well. Things like that. We
Which
also
that aspect will improve
on
in
over
the
time.
near future with
Yeah.
But right
Gotcha.
now it's mainly just some exclusive videos, exclusive members only videos, those uncut watch-alongs to any future. Of course, you'll have access to the ones we've done already, like The Last of Us, Star Wars, Mandalorian right now, and then of course Ahsoka in the future, and that's kind of where that'll be.
And then Will R said, "Is that on Patreon or YouTube?"
Both. So it's really up to you. Whatever is
Whichever
best
one.
for you. Whichever one you like more.
Yeah.
YouTube, you will get, as you can see on Jermaine's, you will get little badges next to your names, and the more you stay a YouTube member, they'll continue to upgrade, and they'll.
We got another one.
We got another one. Look at that.
Nightwing AAP.
Yes,
AP.
AP. Thank you, Nightwing, for becoming a member. But
Thank
yes,
you, Nightwing.
That's
the longer you stay, the longer your Phoenix will continue to upgrade, and your tier will level up in terms of the status of how long you've been in there.
But we have the same. We put the uncuts on both.
Same
Patreon
videos.
and membership.
Yeah.
And Patreon, I think, just gives you a little bit more sometimes because you can tier up and then you get a little bit more perks.
Well, the perks are the same. The perks are the same.
Oh, they are the same.
YouTube is badges, and then you do get like behind the scenes updates on both. So it just depends, because we know there are some Indian viewers, for example. There are some places, some countries where Patreon has like some weird. It doesn't work the same. There's certain restrictions, so YouTube just kind of has it all in one place. And I think is best moving forward.
So I will say, so Jermaine asked, do we know how long the Mandalorian finale will be?
We don't. We do hope it's longer than 40 minutes. 45
At
minutes,
least,
please.
At least 40 minutes.
And then Blockchain Comics said, who will ride the Mythosaur? Mando, Bo, or Grogu, or Boba? Like a bantha.
You were waiting for that.
He needs to ride it like a bantha.
That's a good one.
Get it done.
Who do you think is gonna ride that Mythosaur, love? Who would you like to see?
I think Bo-Katan should.
That would be awesome.
I think Bo-Katan, yeah.
That's who I would.
Their eyes
Also, the
met.
rightful ruler of like Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah.
We've already seen Grogu
great.
do some things that were unexpected for Grogu to do, and I really feel like if they put Grogu on Mythosaur, I think it has to be Bo.
I would love to see that.
Nightwing
Her arc would just be like that. Would be the cherry on the cake for her.
Unless Thrawn steals it
Definitely.
and takes it. I don't know.
Carlos,
What's in
I
Carlos
love you so
saying?
much. He said, this is to see Josh Ross in another video.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, Carlos, so much.
Thank you.
Now you have
that
to.
is my
That's
uncle,
$20,
ladies and
yes.
gentlemen.
That is amazing.
He
We
is
will
Theo
definitely.
Carlos.
Know that your support
Incredible.
in the super chat. Yes,
I have, go. You can scroll through the channel. There's a video of me doing a tribute to Bob Ross, where I do a video where I paint a painting and I talk like Bob Ross. I give you a joy of a time, and we just talk about little critters and just we just see the joys of painting. So yeah, you can go check that out.
Don't we have two of those?
For
I
you.
think we have two of those videos.
No, I think we only have one on the
one?
channel. Yeah.
There will be.
There's another one I think on Patreon. Something like that.
That's it.
Something like that.
That's
Yeah.
That's
Don't take my word for it, but there is one on the channel.
But yes, your support as a member through super chat, wherever it is. We are also, for those of you that don't know, a family of actors and artists.
Yes.
And a part of our goals here, we do have a MaJeliv Creative channel where we are trying to produce more creative content.
Yeah.
Like the Josh Ross video. Sorry, Josh Ross video. To just kind of get creative and showcase what we can do and what we'd like to. How we like to get creative together as a family. So
Nightwing.
just know
Just
that.
wanna
Yes,
put this out there.
I saw some great
What
questions.
do you
so let's
think
do it.
of the rumors of us seeing young Ahsoka fighting Revenge of the Sith Anakin on Mustafar?
I might lose it.
I actually would lose
will
it.
actually.
Yeah, I think we'd be sobbing.
But it is possible. It is possible. Maybe it's a forced vision. Maybe it's some world between worlds stuff where I don't know. I know maybe with the world between worlds we may be seeing a little bit of a shift in the timeline, which would be kind of crazy. They haven't officially confirmed it, but it's kind of happened before.
The other thing though too is this is also a possibility. It could explain weird changes. Maybe nothing changes, but it explains why certain things might be a little out of place, if that makes any sense. Like Ahsoka survives the fight with Darth Vader in Rebels because Ezra saves her. So it's kind of like an Endgame where these things have already happened, right? It's in your future. It's complicated, but basically these things have already happened. It's just explaining why they happened. So maybe it's something like that. I'm not
makes
sure.
sense.
Yes.
Yeah. I will say, I know you guys have been seeing leaks and stuff like that, but I do have to say, if you want to go see leaks, go see the leaks, but save it for the episode. I think August, is it August that it's coming out?
Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Yep.
So August isn't too long away. Try to preserve the experience for yourselves.
Yes,
I do want to say that. I mean, I haven't seen any Tears of the Kingdom leaks or anything like that. So that's the Zelda game. I'm definitely very excited for that, and I want to experience it and not spoil anything. So
yes,
if you guys want to do that, you can. But thank you for the facts and the different leaks that you guys have seen. Which
let's see here
about Maul and Ahsoka fighting. Saying it's a flashback, which would be really cool.
Oh, that would be so.
I'm very curious
That
to
whole
see
fight
who
scene
they
was
would.
insane.
I'm very curious to see who they would cast as a young Ahsoka.
Thank you, Brett, for joining
Brett,
our Ignite.
Riley, thank you
membership.
so much.
All
Thank
right.
Thank you, Brett, for
Welcome.
becoming
Brett.
a
Thank
member.
Welcome to becoming a member.
Thank you.
Oh, this is lovely.
Means
More
so
members.
much.
Enjoy
Yes,
the purple.
you will have a dancing
Phoenix.
Ewok, I think, any moment now.
Dancing Ewok any moment now. It's a little delayed.
it'll come.
And every
like
Phoenix
coming.
that appears next to your name as time goes on was specifically designed by me and Matthew. So just a little,
Yeah,
that's
That's
in
true.
there. So
There it
There
is.
it
there it
is.
is. Now it's showing up. on the screen.
Nice. Dancing Ewok. Let's go. Actually, I saw a funny Johnny Ma Grogu. Yes. Yeah, I
He
mean,
kept talking a
that'd
sort
be funny
of way
if
now,
that
which
was
is
like
really
his
cool.
only voice, so that's how he speaks.
Yes.
Was I the only one that stopped being cute after a couple
Yes.
seconds?
Yes.
I was
Yes.
like,
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I walked into that.
I would like to see kind of the Grogu concept kind of progress a little bit and see what the big picture is with Grogu. I feel like, I don't know, he's cute, but after a while it's like, okay, what's the main gist of Grogu? What's the point?
Yes.
I love him, no offense to Grogu, but I do want to see that develop faster.
Yeah.
For sure.
We'll see.
I think that's a
Which I think already this season he's had to do a lot of things that are a little bit more growing up. Like he had to fly his own ship to get help. Remember that?
Yeah.
When Mando got taken?
Yeah.
So he's definitely stepping it up for sure, especially this season. It's a little bit strange, honestly, sometimes seeing him jump, but it's because he's so tiny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited.
I will say, Bad Coyote Funky, literally, as we were talking about it, said, spicy question. Are Star Wars fans too easily pleased with nostalgia bait, and Grogu antics instead of wanting a good story? This season gave us a lot of side quests and Din being sidelined for others. Well, I think I don't know if this is Din is kind of in the back, like in the passenger seat a little bit,
Right.
because the show has become very much about Bo-Katan, which is why I'm saying the Mandalorian might not be Din anymore. I think it might be Bo-Katan. Just because Pedro's going places and he's been in The Last of Us, and I don't know how much he's been able to. That's
But
just a
also the
theory of
story
mine. I don't
too.
know.
Man,
I
here's the
hope
thing.
he stays.
Here's
I
the
hope
thing.
he stays.
To have Din in a Star Wars movie, like a movie and TV show is a very different thing.
Right, but like right now, Bo-Katan has the Darksaber. She is the Mandalorian. Like, you can't really deny that.
I don't know. Well, and the Mandalorian though could be talking about many different Mandalorians.
Right.
So
But the reason why I brought that comment up is because you were talking
I see what
about
you're saying.
Grogu
Yeah.
being
yeah.
maybe possibly just
Yeah.
there because it keeps audience rates up.
Yes.
Which I mean, I'd show up for Grogu.
Jermaine said that it stopped being cute for Mando too. He became annoying. Yes.
Yeah.
I think Mando vocalized our internal thoughts that we
Yes.
wanted it to stop.
He saw that robot walk in and he was like, "Oh, this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
This is gonna be."
Yeah, Mando as a dad has been fun to
Yeah.
see and explore. But I agree with you, Love. I do hope Grogu has a deeper effect on the whole of the universe and the storyline. And
Yeah, because there's times where it does take me out of it because it does look so, I don't know, animated, like fake in some. I know it's difficult
Very
to
practical.
make a moving puppet that looks real, but at the same time, like, yeah, I think it needs to serve the story a little more than what
Well,
we've seen.
If he becomes a Yoda, I wouldn't be
It's-
upset about
Right,
it.
that's
Because
kind
he's
of-
like
It's gonna take time.
insane,
Listen,
but it'll take time.
listen. Yoda lived for so long, and you have a good point. Like you do, I agree with you. It's just I think the way they grow up is so much slower.
Yes.
1 year for us is, or for everybody else is like
A lot for him.
is a is a lot less. Yeah, so it's all subjective.
When he first came out, I remember Josh, you said that they just wanted to be able to sell the toy, right?
Well, yeah,
because we didn't know the point. And now when you see that he has Force sensitivity and he also has Mandalorian training, then you're like, oh, cool. This is like a new breed of like having both. So that's exciting because we know that kind of stuff is coming. So, you know, I guess I'm excited to see what the point is.
I also think the way he's, if indeed at some point he speaks, I don't know that he'll sound like, I don't think he'll have the same pattern of speech as, say, a Yoda, because he's been around
humans,
Din for so long, right? Humans who speak, you know, the way we do. So that's interesting. I don't know. There could be something there where he'll have his own voice. He'll look like Yoda but sound not like Yoda.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. We'll see.
I see some good here. I'm gonna
go ahead and read. Yeah.
I did want to transition soon though into
more of the other stuff.
The future.
Ahsoka and Heir to the Empire, because there were some comments up, and I did want to talk about this a little bit more because during the actual reaction I was going blank, but we did some more research after, and I want to talk about it because it does seem like Dave Filoni, and you know, for Ahsoka with Thrawn, with Ray Stevenson's character Baylan, they are going to create almost like a reimagined Heir to the Empire, or rather going, you know, taking inspiration from Timothy Zahn's book. And for those of you, because for you guys that don't know, part of the book that people thought that Baylan was originally, who I thought he was, it isn't Baylan. Baylan is not, I think it's, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, Joris Kobath, who is a clone. He's a clone of a Jedi Master who goes insane. So he's a clone.
Who?
This guy named
in the
book.
Oh, in the book.
Not Baylan.
He's a clone of a Jedi?
He's a clone of a Jedi Master who ends up working with Thrawn and all this stuff.
Wow.
And Luke has to... Yeah, it's this whole thing. From what I remember, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a long time since I've read the book. But that's kind of the whole thing where you see these figures that are not necessarily the same characters, but they're going to kind of play similar roles. And of course, Thrawn is there as well. We saw Captain Paleon in episode 7, who is like Thrawn's right-hand man. And clearly, Moff Gideon doesn't see him as, you know, is kind of continuing to like dominate and, you know. But I think, like you said before, Thrawn is going to be the unexpected thing.
Moff is going to get a slice of
Paleon knows the bigger picture, and I think his introduction in this show, in Mandalorian, was definitely obviously intentional to build that, to kind of show that's where it's leading. But I do think Heir to the Empire, there are going to be some elements there that are, we're going to see in Ahsoka. I think we are going to see elements of that. I don't know who that other character is. You know, there's theories. Some of you guys mentioned that there's different theories as to what's going to happen with Baylan about. Someone said Ray Stevenson is a clone of Anakin. That would be crazy. Like an older Anakin. That would be nuts.
That would be.
But I mean, at this point, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
But
in Star
I mean,
Wars.
then again, they were working on him and making him Darth Vader for so long. Maybe Palpatine went in there and went.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Took his DNA.
Joris Seabath, yes. Okay, so I was right about the name. But yes, Heir to the Empire is Luke's story. I think Mara Jade is in there as well. I don't know about that, but there's just a lot of potential there. But there's definitely a lot can happen. And I think back to Grogu, I think the reason that them bringing him into the Rey movie would be so smart is because there is such a fan base behind him. And think about it, if he's a certain age at the end of this New Republic movie that Dave Filoni is directing, this climactic event that they're talking about, that's going to be this crazy battle. And, you know, a couple years after, we can watch Grogu in time jump, if you will, with Rey, and he's older, is, you know, receiving more. I think people would go watch that, you know.
Yeah.
Especially if you have if you're thinking about the box office and numbers and marketing, I think that would be a good selling point, is for people to go to the movies to watch Grogu's journey, not just Rey, but Grogu as well. I think that would be really cool and interesting. But I kind of went off on a tangent there.
It's okay.
Yeah, we get a little excited. That's okay.
But what's some of the comments that we're seeing here about where we're headed, I guess? I'm also cognizant of the time, and I know we're trying to in intervals go
I mean,
have
we
dinner.
could take like a break and then
like
come back.
In like 8 minutes.
Let's take a break
full.
in about 8 minutes. That sounds like a good idea. Any other comments to kind of take us to
There's
towards
been a
break?
lot of comments.
Yeah, in 8 minutes we'll take a break and then come back.
Let's see.
Have some dinner.
Let's see. Do you think Thrawn will appear in the end of Mando?
I don't know. They might be saving that for Ahsoka. I think that if you
Well,
show
there was
him
such
too
a
soon.
suspense in the trailer. Like, it'd kind of be interesting if they were to show him.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they don't, the reason they didn't show him in the trailer is because that moment's supposed to happen. In
That could happen too.
Mando.
I don't think Gideon is gonna make it through this last episode.
No,
not
Really?
because of the Mandalorians. I think because he's underestimating what Thrawn can do. He's gonna get a slap, and a lot more than a slap.
It's gonna be embarrassing.
Either Thrawn or an agent of Thrawn, somebody that serves under him, like that.
What about you, MaJeliv? You tend to have a good knack for
Who's gonna
predicting.
save the day?
Well, is Thrawn gonna show up? Is it gonna be Thrawn that takes out Gideon?
What are you feeling?
Or
I don't think that Thrawn would come in right away. Like, I think that would be a weird way to end it, just bringing Thrawn. Like,
yeah, I think
we know the mystery of Thrawn. He's coming, and I think the build-up is important.
That's true. He's probably dealing with bigger things right now.
I feel like the reason I say Grogu, and I know people might think it's cheesy, but I think because he has Beskar and he has Mandalorian armor, maybe someone who has the Force may be able to do something. And I don't know if it's not necessarily Grogu, but I don't know. Maybe someone comes back, a Mandalorian that's not there yet, or Ahsoka. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
I will make another comment though. I think the Nexus Media podcast said maybe if Bo-Katan sacrifices herself to save Din. Remember, Din said she would serve her. This was a little while ago.
Oh yeah.
She would serve her and showed her some affection, so maybe she would want to pay that back. This would make Din the headline figure. That, or you could equally use that argument to say that Din will sacrifice himself because he cares so much about Bo-Katan. I think they would work if they survive. Come on, guys.
Do you think
show each other some love. Just make it work.
This is weird, but maybe the Mythosaur can come in some way.
They are on Mandalore.
Kill Moff Gideon and save the Mandalorians as a way of fulfilling the prophecy of like Bo-Katan being the leader of.
That'd be kind of cool.
Because it's
she
almost
tames
like
the Mythosaur.
Right, it's almost like an animal, like the unity between the leader of the Mandalorians and this creature coming together to some way redeem Mandalore and get rid of evil. I think maybe that's something that's...
I would love to see something like that, yes.
Yeah. Moff Gideon can...
There's a lot that could happen.
I have to go back to Blockchain Comics' comment of Baylan potentially being Anakin. I want to entertain this stuff because I had a moment too in watching the trailer where that hallway scene, he does do a very Vader move where he does a lightsaber and then he like does like he grabs and he like it was a very Vader. It was like very similar to what Vader does in the hallway scene. And
Who is this?
The older bearded Jedi.
Yes.
Is that
In
what
the
we're talking
trailer?
about? In the trailer, the Ahsoka trailer, yeah.
But who knows, man? I'm very excited. Some people are saying
maybe instead of the character from the book, just because maybe it's the same type of character, but instead of it being a clone of another Jedi, it's a clone of Anakin.
Of Luke's father,
which would make him a different character.
Right. He's not Anakin.
They
He's a
use
clone
the
of
book
Anakin.
as a source material and just adapt it for the show.
That would be really
Or
cool.
it's not Anakin.
Or it's not that at
clone.
all.
Right, because some people are saying that maybe Ahsoka, because maybe they're going to introduce the different, the shifting in timelines and the Star Wars multiverse where maybe Baylan is from a different timeline. And then I think he has like an apprentice or somebody because there is that other person.
And I guess I can't help but ask, okay, as cool as that would be, but why? Like, why clone Anakin Skywalker?
Right.
Right, that's my
question. What's the point of that, too?
Kind of lame.
So there'd have to be a point, but you also have to remember what happened with Snoke. You have to remember, like, there has been a pattern with cloning and trying to clone Jedi and trying to clone Force-sensitive people, so...
And Palpatine always having a plan B.
And there's always... Yeah, so, I mean...
Yeah,
it's a far stretch. I'm not saying I would, like... Because again, that they would have to do a lot of explaining for that to be the case. But it is kind of funny to think about, like, well, like, you know, just like the what if. You know, I think it's very interesting. But
there's a lot that could happen.
Let's see.
But we'll see how those things.
Well, let's move on to the Star Wars
I think we
Celebration
should.
stuff more. Like,
Just because we could go on and on about
movies.
this. But I think we've covered everything with Mando that, like, we know.
We can possibly speculate.
Because now we can, we can definitely.
Well, it was
go
amazing seeing Sabine live action. She looks fantastic and very promising.
Yeah.
I don't know her name. I'm so sorry, the actress, but she seems fantastic. I'm very excited to see that dynamic in live action. To see that, so I can't wait.
I'm gonna find out her name for you.
Her name?
All right, so since our break is in like 2 minutes.
Do you want to start that conversation when we return?
Do you want to start?
I think we will start those conversations when we return. Yes.
Natasha is her name.
Natasha Liu.
Little plug-in. So Siddharma is asking, can you guys watch RRR on YouTube? We actually considered watching RRR on YouTube.
Because we've seen it.
Again, because we saw it in theaters.
Right.
We did a review. We were thinking of sitting down and watching it again.
I would be more than happy to watch RRR again.
But we will a little segue here really quick. It will be on our MaJeliv India channel. We did start to our Indian viewers that are watching this, we did start a MaJeliv India channel specifically for any future MaJeliv Indian content. We thought it was best to do that so that, you know, everyone in our audience can kind of, you know, get what they're looking for, and to kind of specify and to give the best kind of content for our audiences and for our, you know, for everyone watching, so that, you know, we can get a little bit more specific and also get more creative. Kind of dive deeper into Indian cinema on that front. Maybe try some Indian food and you know, kind of have some conversations and, you know, kind of get creative there, and maybe you guys can throw some ideas. But it would help a lot if any Indian viewers watching that are looking for that kind of content only, or kind of want a little bit of both, like Star Wars content and like Indian content. If you guys can subscribe to that channel and help boost it right now, we're trying to get it to 1,000 subscribers. We just posted our Jersey reaction to that recently, and we'll get our Uri reaction coming out soon. So I wanted to give that, if there's any Indian viewers watching that are curious about that, that's a little update. Thank you for your patience.
Yes, and we need your help to subscribe to that channel as well, because we need to get it to 1,000, and we're almost there. We're getting there.
So if you guys help us out, that'd mean a lot.
Yep.
But little segue there.
Plea clerk, hello.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
I know. We're hyped to have you here with us.
Yes, we're happy to have you here with us.
We are about to go to a break.
So
that's kind of
sorry. We are taking a break, but I think this is also a
But
good
we'll be
time
back,
for you to take a break if you need to go eat something.
Stand up, get some water,
take a nap.
Also, we did talk about a Q&A, so if you guys want to maybe leave questions,
so we'll talk.
Then when we come back, we could just
talk about the future of Star Wars and Q&A.
Yep. Hello, NYC Mike. Good to see you again. Yes, so we're about to go on a break to go eat, kind of take a little break, and then we'll be back to talk about the updates on the movies that are coming out in theaters that they haven't really given release dates to, but they're coming from what it sounds like. And it's very, very exciting stuff. We're going to talk about that. You guys can ask us your questions, and we'll dive a little bit more into what that entails. But thank you for joining us for this first half.
We may have to do another Star Wars part 2.
Stick with us. We definitely will have more to talk about, so stick with us. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Like my mom said, take a nap or get some water. Do what you do.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
So don't nobody go nowhere.
Yeah, don't nobody go nowhere. So thank you for joining us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This live is not going anywhere. It's not ending. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
See you soon.
All right. See you soon.
We'll be back.
Force be with you.
Don't leave. Don't leave. Hey.
We're back.
Hello.
With a
we are
subscriber.
back.
We're back
Wow,
with a
that was
subscriber. Look at that.
really good
On
timing.
cue.
Cool.
Wow.
We returned.
Thank
We
you
have
for your
returned.
patience.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience. Hope you guys got a snack, maybe a nap, maybe a phone call. I don't know. A nap. Yeah,
Wow.
20 minutes is enough. 20 minutes.
Maybe
Yeah,
you went
sorry to
and watched
wake
some
you.
of our other videos
Probably scared you.
and came back.
Yeah.
Probably watched the Josh Ross video.
Yeah, we just filled our stomach with some food. So
Yes.
now that we have eaten, we are ready to get back into the conversation. And we'll kind of dive deeper into our thoughts on the 3 new movies that were announced for Star Wars that are coming in the near future.
Yes.
What they will entail potentially. It's still very, there's not a lot to go off of, but we can give our theories and our thoughts, what we hope to see, and then kind of the state of Star Wars movies as a whole. And then we'll end with a live, or with the Q&A. We are already live with the Q&A. Just a kind of a quick Q&A. You guys can give us some questions about anything you would like to ask us, and then we will answer as quick as we can and get through as many as we can.
Yep.
But okay, let's begin with the first movie in terms of the timeline and how they're going to break it down. The first movie that we heard about was a movie that's going to be directed by James Mangold, who directed Logan and Ford v Ferrari, and who's directing Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Who has?
Now
they're just going to release it.
Yes, and James Mangold will be directing a movie that is going to cover a new era in Star Wars that hasn't really been explored before, called Dawn of the Jedi. So this is pre-Old Republic, the beginning of Force users and Jedi, all that. So
Cool.
it's very exciting. We don't personally know a lot about this. We don't know if there's anything in Legends that exists about this. But when you guys hear that, what comes to mind? What do you envision? What do you think that could entail?
Like the early.
Early. I mean, yeah, very early.
Oh.
That's a great
know.
question.
I wonder, it would be great to see some sort of the sense of, I can only imagine what it must have been like for humanity when we discovered fire, when fire was created for the first time, millions of years ago. So to maybe have the experience of a human in another galaxy discovering that they have this power, this connection to the whole of creation, and within themselves this ability to connect to this light force. I think that, and the dark force, that would be an interesting thing to tackle, and how it affects relationships.
The whole
It's a very
Metachlorian
fascinating
thing. What is it called?
Midichlorian.
Midichlorian?
Midichlorian. Midichlorian, yeah.
I think the concept of that, maybe.
I think they should go back to like the father-daughter son. I think that's what they should do.
The origination
Elaborate
of like
on that.
lightsabers?
Of the
Dark and
wills
light?
Of the dark, the light, and the middle.
Do you remember in Clone Wars there was a painting
yeah.
of the
Ooh,
father?
that
I
would
think
be
that was
so
such a
cool.
fascinating group of
father's
episodes
son
in Clone
and
That
Wars.
was
Yeah,
cool,
that was
yeah.
very
If they would
interesting.
elaborate on that and really hone in on that and this strange nature to the dark side of the force, the light side of the force, and then this father figure who's very eerie and who's at the center of all of it, who's like taming them. Like, I think if you go back to that, it's very there's something very mysterious about it. And like when you have those creatures show up that represent those characters, like the way that you have like the creature that represents the daughter that is always around Ahsoka, and also the way that Ezra is involved with the father, like you really get everybody to understand what that means.
Ooh,
Because
I think
there's such a
that's- I think
mystery.
you're right,
There's such a
Josh.
mystery in the force of the nature of Star Wars that I think that's where they should focus all of it on.
That is a genius.
That'd be really
thought.
cool.
Yeah, I could see Dave Filoni also being like, I want to make this really like clear and expand on it. So.
Right.
Yes. The one thing that James Mangold did say when he was talking about this was that he does envision and kind of is hoping to go for the vibes of what he calls a biblical epic. So
Like,
that's very interesting.
He might be starting with like a Genesis in the
very
beginning.
very Exodus.
There was the
very
son,
Genesis.
the daughter, and the
right,
father.
right, all of it with the
Well, Adam
wills
Eve
and
is like the beginning of what Josh was saying.
Jedi and Sith and all that. So
daughter, son, and
I think it's-
They could
it's-
do something really cool.
it's more
I
like
wouldn't say
I think by
biblical,
that
but
it's the way that those early books in the Bible kind of have a certain energy to it, a certain like I think a lot of what's going to happen there we're going to see potentially affect everything else in terms of the codes and the religions of Jedi and Sith and the in between, especially because now it seems like they're hinting at Dark Jedi and are they going to go into later on the rule of two, why there's only two Sith and all this stuff. So I think to see people in the galaxy discover the Force, like you're saying, Mom, with midichlorians and Daddy too, with the relationships, how that can affect people.
Yeah.
I think that'd be very interesting to see how James Mangold does that. Especially because his movies do such a good job with like grounding the characters. Especially when you watch movies like Logan, like Ford v Ferrari. There's just you're there, you're connected. There's something about it that's just very earthy, just very like awesome and gritty. So I'm very, very curious to see what his take, what his vision, his tone can bring to Star Wars. And what I love, this is something different. I don't know how this was when they first announced the 3 movies coming out for the sequel trilogy. To see all 3 of those directors on the stage at the same time, which I think just is a proof to the fact that perhaps and hopefully this time around there is a level of collaboration and kind of weaving certain things together, so there is a level of
well thought out.
I've done one thing, I'm passing it on to you, and we kind of know what we're doing. There's
I
a
think
sense
they
of
announced
trust.
Rian Johnson after after Force Awakens.
Right, I think from what I understand, J.J. Abrams was the only one that they had announced, Episode 7. They hadn't really announced anything else, or at least the directors, and if they did, at least I don't remember. If there was a moment like that, you guys could let us know, but I think it was very cool to see Kathleen Kennedy there with the 3 directors, because it's like,
there's a responsibility there. We've
Right.
shown up to Star Wars Celebration. That means we're going to be doing these movies, and we're working together to make them work.
Yeah.
So it's a big improvement.
So I think that's very exciting. But yeah, that's kind of the Dawn of the Jedi. We don't have a name yet.
Yeah.
It's just kind of that. So very interesting.
We
Oh, I
do
thought
have
that
some
was the
comments
name.
on there, Matthew.
Yeah, Mark
thought that was the
Broden said, "What did you have for dinner?"
Chipotle.
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 Which
Chipotle.
we have not had in me. It's been years since I've
Yeah, it's
had
actually been a while since they have Chipotle.
Chipotle.
But there was a call and eat Chipotle tonight, so we ate it.
It was
Yeah, it
delicious.
It was good.
It was actually a lot more delicious
Yeah, it was
than
really
I
yummy.
expected.
Right?
So
I wonder if they
flavorful.
have Chipotle in Star Wars.
What kind of Chipotle
Yes.
would exist in the
This
Star
is
Wars
not
galaxy?
a plug.
No, it's not a plug.
by
It's
the
not
way.
not a sponsored
Not at
thing.
all.
No.
Not at all.
To your question though, that about the title, from what I understand,
Yeah.
it could be the title, very much so. I do know that Dawn of the Jedi is more of the title of that era
Oh.
in the timeline. So they could just go straight for Dawn of the Jedi. I mean, they could definitely do that.
I
It's
see.
kind of epic.
So it's an era. I see. It's a time
an era.
period. All right. So maybe they could just call it the beginning.
Right.
Or the
Right.
Force, Part 1.
Exactly.
Birth of the Force. Ooh.
There was some more questions above.
Yes, let's see. Jermaine asked. Question, this is kind of a sub tangent. Unless you guys want to hold that one for
No, we
Q&A.
can keep going because then we'll lose it.
Okay, cool. Question, has Dad ever tried out for Superman and Lois or Teen Wolf? Tyler Huck, so his brother, to play that actor's brother, Tyler Huckman's brother.
That would be amazing.
We've
I
actually
have
talked
not.
about this. We've
We
talked
did.
about the resemblance. Or at least-
We did talk about this. I wish I could say yes. Maybe I even wish I could say it could be a possibility, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. God could make anything happen. But I do know that James Gunn has all the intentions of casting a much younger Superman. So
So maybe one of these guys.
maybe these guys,
You know.
perhaps that might be the other.
Hey,
the other
and
James.
you got,
I'm
Brave
down.
and the Bold. Yeah, up and down. Yeah. Damian Wayne and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But
Robin.
yes, to answer your question, Jermaine. But
But
back
I
to
appreciate the question.
Yes,
That's
great
extremely
question.
flattering. Thank you.
Great question. Okay, back on Star Wars. Let's see here. Do you think it's possible for Disney to fix the sequels? George Stice asks. Or is it a retcon? Or is a
the
retcon
only feasible
the
solution?
only feasible solution?
Well,
Saying
you-
this, of course, since they ruined the 6 movies that came before them.
You
I mean,
have
it's a very-
to explain how anybody could have possibly fallen in love with Palpatine. Like,
yeah.
no. And if not, it's just like,
if
that
anything,
is
they could
really-
probably like twist the storyline a little bit. I would say, if anything, change a little bit of Rey's origin, where she does belong to a couple significant, but Emperor Palpatine claimed her as his, even though she never was.
That's true.
That's the only thing I see them probably changing. Like, that they could change, I think would be actually great if they were to do something like that, because I don't know, I think there's potential where they could still keep it alive, continue it on, but they definitely would have to either retcon things or change things a little bit. But I know Dave Filoni helped a lot with the prequels, with filling in the gap with using Clone Wars, and it was all done really well, so I have faith that they know what they're doing. So I don't think it would be wise, because it was really cool how it first started out, but then the more it just started turning around, we're like, what is this doing? But there's still a lot of good potential there, so it'd have to kind of be a balance of both, I would say, but not completely cancel the whole thing. I think there's still a lot of things they could keep and use, so I'd be curious to see what they're going to do with it, because it seems like they have a pretty structured plan. So it's now, where does it all fall into place? So
That makes the most sense to me, because I had an issue with her being a Palpatine. I still have an issue with it.
Too.
I don't like it.
For what reason? What was it that? Not that I disagree, but to elaborate on that. What?
In The Force Awakens, there's that scene where she has that connection to the lightsaber, and she's in this hallway where she has a deeper connection to Anakin, and she hears all these voices, but you hear Obi-Wan's voice very, very distinctly, and why is she hearing Obi-Wan's voice? I don't know.
But then you also have to go back that J.J. Abrams clearly didn't have... I mean, if she's meant to be related to Obi-Wan, how is that even possible? I mean, unless he's like Dumbledore and he has a brother. But we would have probably heard about that.
Yeah.
Anakin was like his brother. He wouldn't have said that unless Obi-Wan didn't have a brother.
Unless
and Obi-Wan loved Satine, and she died.
I know the two theories we
no
kind
way.
of had was either, and I know someone, I think Omega's saying it as well, of Ezra and Sabine, like her being their daughter, or we were thinking Obi-Wan and Satine, but that's like a very far-fetched one. And also because the kind of Jedi Obi-Wan is, it wouldn't make sense to his character either for that to even happen, I think.
You think JJ is going to watch Star Wars
who knows?
Rebels if he doesn't
Who
like
knows?
the prequels?
Yeah, exactly. So
I think it's that. It comes down to
Yeah.
seeing the full story, and clearly George Lucas helped make the Clone Wars, and it's still very much his Star Wars, the Star Wars that everyone loves. And you have to keep all that into account when you're telling a story with these characters, especially if you had scripts that George Lucas had written. If you're not going to write and do them verbatim, at least see that as the foundation, and from the sound of what those scripts entailed, and it's not even just speculation, it's kind of come out and it's been talked about. George has talked about what those movies entailed. It sounds a lot more true to the characters that we experienced with Luke, with Han, with Leia, and a lot of it just makes more sense. I've talked about it before.
That's a video I've not seen. George Lucas, we talked about that.
Yeah,
you were saying something you said.
But no,
before.
yeah, I've said it before in other reactions. I think Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, the directors, I think it's very easy to want to hate on them and to want to bash them, and Kathleen Kennedy even. A lot of people love to throw hate at Kathleen Kennedy, but the reality is, these people are doing the best that they can, or the best that they see fit, right? How to do their job right. But the reality is, and I think you see this evident with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, that Star Wars is a legacy that you have to be shepherded into. There has to be an apprenticeship. And Dave Filoni for many years with George Lucas almost became that in terms of when he was making Clone Wars. Then Jon Favreau kind of stepped in there too with Clone Wars and kind of got involved, and there was a relationship there, a collaboration. But it's a creative process. It's a world. It's in a similar way, Star Wars is like our modern Middle Earth. In terms of that modern mythology that connects at least America on this side of the world, and so that's something that is not taken lightly in terms of what it means and the world behind it, and I think when Star Wars means so much to so many people, obviously people have different perspectives on it.
It also makes you wonder too who they put, the story of Star Wars, like, who they handed to allow to do this creative work as well. Not insulting any of the directors because they're great directors. It's nothing against them. I think it was really the storyline of it as well. And obviously with the diversity of different kinds of Star Wars fans, I love the way the director of Andor approached the Star Wars project of like, he didn't approach it as a fan of Star Wars of what he's always imagined Star Wars to be. It's like, okay, how do I respect the story and what the creator of Star Wars is envisioning? It's like you have to look at it as a normal project and, how is it going to contribute to the story and help the creator of that universe be satisfied with their work. So I think the directors were big fans of Star Wars, but their imagination could have altered George Lucas's true vision of what he wanted panned out for the sequels. So I think that's why ultimately, as well as probably business and production stuff, who knows, that could have been the downfall. So I think that's why it's important, and that's why someone like a Dave Filoni, who understands and loves what George Lucas is doing, is helping him enhance it. He's not trying to make it his own. So it's just, it's the mutuality of creatives, if I'm saying it fancily. But yeah. So you see that probably coming in the future, which is exciting.
It's a task.
We could
try to save those sequels.
It's
It
hard.
is a task. I don't envy them. That is not going to be fun to try to figure out.
Yeah, I think
they're going to find a way.
I think the best way is if they create almost the kind of thing where they don't necessarily retcon it, especially because you have Carrie Fisher in there that does mean a lot to so many fans, and the one sad reality is that we won't get to see Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher on the same screen at the same time again. Like that's just a sad reality.
Yeah.
Something that you can compare to like a Jurassic World Dominion, that you could say your arguments about how good or bad that movie was, at least as fans, as in terms of nostalgia, to see those three actors in their respective roles.
Both generations,
Right, in both generations all together, there's just something about that's extremely powerful. And that moment for Star Wars we won't get, which is, it is what it is. So, and in the sequel trilogies have their powerful moments as well. It's not all trash. So, that perspective on it too, where it's just throw it away, I don't think is wise either, because Rey is, I believe, has a lot of potential as a character.
Oh, yeah.
You have a character like Finn who has so much potential, I believe. Kylo Ren is another one.
Yeah.
Captain Phasma. These characters that have potential. How do you make them grow? How do you make them see more time? So what I see them is potentially creating a timeline change where now they can kind of play with
time,
different things that happened or different ways in which things happened, where you don't say, oh, this never happened. It did happen, just not the way that things are now happening. So that potentially could be a thing. I mean, we see Marvel kind of doing it.
even
Christopher
the
Lloyd.
Of time.
Yeah, maybe Christopher Lloyd, and there's a little nod to Back to the Future and how they're gonna kind of see, the alternated. Cool. I mean, I don't know, but Dad, you guys were mentioning, or Jemmy, you're mentioning Dave Filoni. So I think that's a great way to segue into his movie, the New Republic one. Before we do that, though, I do want to answer because we are getting some comments, right, bro?
Yes. Jermaine King. Let's see. He said Daisy Ridley was. I don't know if you meant to say shocked, but
like
shocked
when
by
you
the
shuck corn,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but she was
Or
shocked
something else.
by the
Makes
Palpatine
sense.
storyline.
Yeah.
It shocked makes sense.
Yeah. What are you guys reacting to after Mando?
I guess whatever comes out next.
So after, I'm trying to think of what's coming up next. Man, I know Secret Invasion comes out after that. I know we are gonna get into. We've talked about it. We're doing it. We're in the process of recording and getting those ready. But classic movies, getting into some first time watching. We did Everything Everywhere All at Once. Recently. So probably, movies like Alien,
Which I know is
Die
crazy.
Hard. Some movies that.
You would think us movie nerds would have watched these already, but we haven't. So it'll be a surprise.
So some classics in there. We'll probably throw some of those in there. We have to kind of double check to see what other shows are coming out because it's kind of hard to remember. But
Secret Invasion definitely was one. I know somebody mentioned, but I think we're ways away from that. Somebody asked us if we would react to the show The Chosen, season 4. But season 4 is still, they're still fundraising for it. we're almost done with season 3, and it's a very different experience for us to receive it the way it is. So I'll just throw that out there. Not sure that we would actually do that because it's such a
maybe a review if anything.
Yeah, probably a review and a discussion.
Yeah.
Something like a live, maybe like this, we could probably do for The Chosen. But I think you said Secret Invasion. That's the one that I think is the next.
There's
show.
also we have to catch up on Bad Batch. We have not seen Bad Batch.
Yeah. Even Tales of the Jedi we haven't seen.
Tales of the Jedi.
It's crazy.
I know Star Wars Visions comes out soon. We have to kind of look around, but there definitely is a lot to watch, plenty to watch.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's coming up next, and of course we'll always be releasing those uncut watch alongs that you guys will have access to as patrons or by becoming a YouTube member.
Yeah.
Regardless of what edited reactions come out, I think we're definitely going to be releasing uncut watch alongs to whatever comes next, and then obviously for Star Wars. We'll have Ahsoka in August, which will be here before we know it.
Yeah.
So,
we had, Jermaine say, oops, lol, with the shocked.
Oh, yeah.
So you're all good. It is very funny. Omega Zero said, MaJeliv, if any of you can become a main character in a rewrite sequels, who will it be? The girl as Ezra and Sabine's daughter, and the eldest brother as Luke and Mara's son. Sorry, not remember names. So
and then you.
No, I'm not there.
No, I'm trying to think about you. I was thinking either a young Kylo or like a young.
Well, we can say the names. So this is
Yes, so we'll go around.
Yeah, we'll go by names.
I'm Matthew.
Oh, I'm Jose.
I'm Jemmy.
I'm Jenny.
And I'm Joshua.
Joshua, yes.
Yeah.
Those are our names, in case you guys were wondering. So that's
Yes.
it. So.
Yeah, I feel like if I were to play anybody,
who would you want to?
maybe like a young Kylo Ren. I'm down.
Right, that's what I said. Like a young
That could be
Ben.
pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
a young
Ben.
Ben.
Yeah.
That could be really cool.
I think that'd be really cool. Or like
Yeah.
Luke training, like that
Luke,
kind
or
of
like something like that, or just like a young Jedi,
or like the band that didn't go dark.
right.
If we go that route, that's funny.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Very cool.
What's up, Ram? We're doing great. We're having a lot of fun talking to you guys about Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Josiah is back for a little bit here.
What's up?
Star Wars fans can be so ruthless. I get not enjoying something, but no need to attack those just doing their job. Amen to that, Josiah. I also don't understand the hate against other fans who disagree with the majority. Yeah, there's hate is unnecessary, I believe. It doesn't
Just
produce
listen and
anything
love.
but more hate. Yeah,
We all love Star Wars here.
Yeah.
Everyone. What's unfortunate too is like movies take a lot of hard work. Regardless of the story and all that, there's a lot of people that are putting a lot of hard work into creating the movie, the show, whatever it is. And you have to take account of that. The people that you see in the credits after every movie. Those are the people that are working hard, and you meet those people on set, and they're just like us.
Yep.
They're just like us. They're regular humans who have families, people they love, people they care for, and they're just, trying to work. And when they're passionate about it. So you have to see that too.
Yeah.
Sometimes we as fans can think that it's just ours and they have to meet our demands right away because only our demands matter, and that's completely false. So
Omega Zero said, but yes, definitely. Sorry.
yes. It's okay.
Omega Zero said, Rise of Skywalker ending would have been better if Scarlet Witch appears in the multiverse and destroys the entire sequel trilogy.
Listen, I love Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
She's my favorite.
she showed up.
Oh, man.
John Wick, welcome to the chat.
Greetings from
Mexico. Mexico.
Bienvenidos.
Hola. Yeah.
Do you think Bo-Katan and Din Djarin will be a couple, like in a relationship?
If they survive this episode.
If they survive the following episode, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the love will go beyond death, if death happens. I think Bo-Katan
I would not be upset to see
won't
that.
fall in love with anybody else.
That'd be pretty awesome.
She hasn't had somebody sacrifice. I mean, yes, she has. She has. But yes, I think that their love will go beyond death. So yeah.
And
Yes,
they'll
let's see
adopt the little boy who's now an orphan.
An orphan.
'Cause his
Oh, yeah,
dad
Pa's
died.
died.
yeah.
Dude, that sucks.
So
Literally
sad.
sucks. I
May he
can't.
rest in peace, man.
That breaks my heart that kid now is fatherless, unfortunately.
That was brutal, man.
That was
That
tough.
still hurts.
And he went out like brutally too.
Yeah.
Man, Let's see here. Looks like you have a request, parents to watch Beef on Netflix. Looks like something you guys maybe might enjoy watching together.
I haven't seen what Beef is.
I've seen banners.
It stars Steven Yeun, I believe.
Yeah. I've
from
seen
The
banners
Walking Dead,
and ads for it, but I haven't seen trailers or anything. So
This is
interesting.
basically-
You recommend it.
Yes.
People dealing with stress. What is it? Loneliness
And
And anger.
Yeah, beef. Like
Beef.
what we used to say. It was
yeah,
slang that
like
we
who
used to
has
use.
like you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
beef.
What?
Yeah.
You got beef with me, man?
I wonder what it's about. It makes it like it's intriguing to me. I mean, I get that that's what it's about, but what does the show entail? Curious.
I'd
I'll
love
have
to
to
see
look
it.
at it. Yeah,
Yeah.
looks interesting. Sounds interesting.
Bruce.
It's on Netflix, you said?
Bruce Dorsey.
Have to check it out.
Love you guys. Love you too, Bruce.
Yes.
How
Me
do
too,
you
Bruce.
think? So I feel like this question was probably relating to something we were talking about earlier. But how do you guys think everything is going to play out, especially after all the mixed and packed storylines after the end? I'm not too sure what.
Oh, so like I think moving.
With the sequels and stuff?
With the sequel.
Yeah, with the sequels potentially. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the unknown part.
Yeah.
Wait, can you read that one more time to make sure I decipher this?
How do
right?
you guys think everything is going to play out, especially after all the mixed and packed storylines after the end? Yes, I think if you're referring to what we think you're referring to about the end of the Skywalker saga, which is Rise of Skywalker, as of now, it's kind of hard to know fully, especially with everything that they're building up with Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Thrawn, this Dave Filoni movie with the New Republic era, which that's what we'll go into now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
Great
think
segue.
that movie's gonna entail, Mom and Jemmy? What do you guys think?
Which one? The
The
middle
Mandalorian.
one.
Yeah, not the Mandalorian. The Dave Filoni directed movie. Yeah,
Remind me which one that is.
Remind me.
that's gonna be
The
this.
finale of Mandalorian.
Essentially, it's
and
going to
Ahsoka.
be the climactic event that takes place again after Return of the Jedi, around that Mando and Ahsoka time. That's going to kind of be the accumulation, like the climactic event coming from Mando, coming from Ahsoka, that will end those shows and those.
Maybe even
series
some events
and
from Skeleton Crew, right? All of those
potentially
things come together.
kind of all of them coming
Whoa.
together for one moment.
Well, that seems like a jam-packed
climactic
movie
event.
already.
Quite frankly, I think Thrawn is going to be the big bad
yes.
of that.
Especially if Ezra's in there and everything.
I
especially
think
if Ezra's in
Grogu will move forward with the Jedi.
Grogu, you're going to Hollywood.
Yeah, I feel like Grogu has a bigger purpose with the Jedi. I feel like they did a nod to that in this last Mandalorian episode when Din says, "Oh, he didn't get that from me." It was kind of a nudge of like he has that Luke, what is it? The Luke,
teachings, like
not the teachings, but the
instincts.
influence.
Influence.
That what Luke instilled in him is within him somehow, and I do feel like the fact that Ahsoka had him for a little while, like I don't know, I really feel like Grogu in that film or whatever will maybe go into the Jedi realm.
Well, him also being kind of an in-between with Force sensitive and being a Mandalorian. I don't know, there was kind of a cool shot, like what you were talking about when he stopped the two Mandalorians from fighting each other. Of like the both ways of being a Mandalorian and stuff like that, and he was the one who stepped in when usually the Mandalorians just sit back and watch.
Right.
He's the one who intervened and told him like stop. And he
Very
used the little,
Jedi,
he used the
like,
button.
yeah.
No. So I do agree with
wonder
that.
if we'll get a continuation of his flashback in this last episode.
I definitely feel like that.
Potentially.
I definitely feel like the finale, that movie, for concluding the Ahsoka show and Mando, will feel like a little mini endgame moment, I would say, for us, because they're combining characters and stuff like that. Probably interactions with characters, like, oh, this would be, them being in the same room. Obviously, it won't be exact because it's Star Wars and they're going to do it in their own way, but that kind of excitement because it's this big conclusion.
Yeah.
Because
good
Admiral
point.
Thrawn is a big threat. So,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a Thanos. Like that kind of threat level.
Yeah, so that's actually, it's funny because Johnny Ma said that it's supposed to be their Avengers Endgame level event.
Oh, cool.
At the event?
No, yeah, they said that there, that it's supposed to be like, that's kind of what they're like an end game level event. At least that's what people are saying. That's kind of how they were building it up to be. In terms of the scale, the battle, probably all the people coming in terms of the different heroes and characters that we've met, and Thrawn being like their Thanos. And Benjamin, to answer your question, Benjamin Gibson, thank you for being a member, by the way, as well.
Thank you.
Yes, that we do expect to see Grogu. We do hope to see Grogu in the movies. I think especially how much of an audience and fanship he has, it would make sense.
Well, especially if you're gonna go beyond him being this cute, baby Yoda thing.
Yeah. Now he's Grogu.
He has to be Grogu, and he has to have significant impact. And it sounds like we're already hinting at what that could potentially be. I especially love this, and I'm probably reading into it, but hearing you talk about the Jedi possibilities for Grogu, the fact that his robot avatar thing that he's using, his little vehicle, has a gray tone to it, makes me think of the concept of gray Jedis, and maybe he's in the realm of that, and that kind of makes me think of what you said earlier about him being trained by Rey, who is Rey, gray, Jedi. I'm just saying. I'm speculating. Could be way off here, but I like that. I feel like that would have a huge... It could be a pretty big catalyst when these two worlds of Mandalorian and Ahsoka collide. I wouldn't put it past Dave Filoni to consider that, but who knows? I'm just.
I mean, everything is up. Everything is up in the air right now, and we'll see how it all plays out.
Speaking of how it plays out, do you want to move on to the next movie, the final one?
I mean, we kind of talked about the Rey one.
Yeah, that's true.
And like I said, it all depends on how everything else turns out. Because if they change things, or again with Grogu, like I feel like they're gonna kind of give us a little bit more as to what that is gonna entail, especially moving forward. Like at that point, who's, of course Rey's gonna be starting a new Jedi Order, but then what's the Force that's stopping her? Maybe that's a force that we learn about later on. Maybe that's a force that we learn about later on. So it's very, very interesting.
Well, also
very
with the
exciting
Ahsoka
times.
show, someone asked, like, I think in general, first they said love from Japan. Do you guys think we'll see Maul/Savage in live action at some point? Maybe
Savage was his brother?
Yes, the one that got horribly, the one that got murdered by
Emperor
Palpatine.
That's right.
But I mean, that would be so cool to see.
That would be awesome.
I don't know where that would fit in.
Who would? I mean, they could bring the guy.
They totally could bring Ray Park back. But I don't know. I don't know where that would fit in. But that would definitely be very interesting.
It would be cool.
I know there are a lot of things that a lot of fans, including ourselves, we would love to see from the Clone Wars in live action. Just because it's it's great. But let's see here. Johnny Ma, yes, I think for sure we will see an older Grogu in the new series of movies they announced with Rey. It kind of seems like that's the go-to. Like it kind of makes sense that that's what they would do. I think that's great. That's kind of the anchor that I think will drive us into the next generation. So, Aman Esfandi casting as Ezra Bridger is perfect. I don't know about the actor, but yes, his face fits. He looks a lot like him. It looks like his essence the essence is there. We haven't really seen his work either. But Anthony Hames just saw you on the Lifetime movie.
Hey.
Yeah, little plug-in.
Wow.
Yes. And to answer, I forgot who asked it earlier. But yes, again, we are a family of actors. I'm an actor, and again, the whole family is. And yeah, if you guys want to check out the movie Drunk Driving in 17 on Lifetime, you guys can.
It's
show
called
up on
Drunk Driving and 17 on
Very
Lifetime.
Clear. Thanks.
This is on the pause.
But little plug in there, but
it makes him
him nervous.
Yeah, it makes him nervous. But
fun.
we gladly will tell you once again. Check out Drunk Driving and 17 on Lifetime.
Yes.
We haven't seen it yet,
Yeah,
but
we haven't seen it.
family
Yeah, but
has,
we will-
and now some of you have.
We will see.
We're
it.
very excited to see it.
We will see it once we get off this awesome live with all you awesome people.
Yes.
Some of you earlier were mentioning Liko from Pokemon. We talked about that in our last live with playing Mario. I want to see who Liko is. She's the new face of Pokemon, so we'll definitely
Let's
have
see
to
here.
say hello to our new Pokemon trainer friend.
Somebody said, yes, Maul was in the end credit scene of Han Solo, that there was supposed to be a Solo sequel with more Maul. But unfortunately, we never got that because Solo didn't do well. Which I don't know. Mom, did you like Solo? Did you guys like Solo?
I don't remember not liking it.
I think we enjoyed it.
I thought it was fun.
I think we were just.
The
I
Last
think
Jedi.
The Last Jedi had just come out too, so it was kind of.
We were a little jaded. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
also like,
timed.
why would you go back and do that if you?
Didn't that one
killed
end
Han
with
Solo
Little
in
I
Leia?
think
Force
it was just
Awakens.
strangely timed. No, Little Leia was Obi-Wan.
Oh, I'm thinking Obi-Wan. Solo, I don't remember. It was
I mean, the
Han
fact-
Solo's...
The fact that
fact
you don't
that I
remember.
Yeah, the
really
fact
That's
that
the
you
one.
don't
That's the
remember
one
Lando.
where Donald Glover played Lando. It had Emilia Clarke
Oh,
from Game of
yeah.
Thrones. You didn't like that one, no?
Not my favorite. No, I think,
There
yeah,
it
'cause
is.
the fact that I didn't even remember probably means not really.
Probably
I think also the timing of when it came out is kind of strange too.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
because we were so trying to process how we felt about the sequel movies coming out, we're like, wait, what is Solo doing here? So it was kind of just strangely timed, but overall, it was pretty fun.
It was fun. I mean, we enjoyed them, but... Okay, we have 10 minutes left, so I think we'll do a rapid Q&A. Matthew,
Okay.
what do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
think?
No, sounds great.
Because if we
Yeah.
can talk about Star Wars for another 5 hours.
And in
Yes.
fact, we are planning on doing a live after the finale of season 3 of The Mandalorian, so
Yes.
we can transfer all of our questions and thoughts and theories
Yeah.
after that, because I have a feeling that
Yeah.
next Wednesday's episode will kind of lead and pave the way for what we can expect moving forward. So that will be exciting. So stay tuned for that. But yes, for these last 10 minutes, we will open up the floor for any questions you guys want to ask, any random questions, any questions you want to ask us. We'll start with Bruce Dorsey's.
Well, there's some
Wait,
above.
and Josh, were you going to say something else? Or are you reading something there that we have to address?
No, I think the Bruce one is because
Yeah,
he has to go.
Okay, Bruce
He has
has
to go. So
Oh,
before
okay.
you go,
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
you watched that fan film with Maul that came out like 2 years ago? Definitely recommend. I think I have.
I have not.
I can probably show them.
Not.
We have not.
We
Maybe.
have.
Oh, you haven't.
You probably,
probably
I
have.
probably have. But
Maybe we
I have
have,
to look up.
and we just forgot. But we definitely have to check it out again.
There definitely are some
Yes.
great fan films people have made out there. So yeah.
Yeah. Good night, Bruce.
Yes,
Or
good night.
Farewell, wherever you're going.
Yes, thank
Sounds
you,
like you have to
Bruce.
go.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
being
Bruce.
with us tonight. This has been awesome.
And speaking of Bruce, Kazi,
Payan asks in a bat voice, Harvey Dent, can we trust him?
yeah.
I don't know, Dad. What do you think?
Can
Do
we trust Harvey Dent?
Absolutely not. He's Two-Face.
Two-Face.
You have 1 minute you think
Which-
you can, and then you can't.
Which side of the face do we trust, though?
Neither.
Neither.
No, because the other face will always, the face that likes to flip coins will always have the last say.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And Harvey Dent we loved him when he was all Harvey Dent.
Loved
But then when Rage exploded,
Past tense.
literally, you can't go back.
Those are great films.
Okay,
Check them
we
out.
do need to read the other
Yes,
questions
let's
quick.
see.
Yes. Question.
Omega Zero. If your family plans to travel to other countries, I recommend Malaysia. That country
Ooh.
is food heaven. Wow. You will love the foods and
That is
cultures.
a very
Michelle Yeoh is from
Yeah, she's from
Malaysia. That
Yeah.
country is amazing.
That'd be
Very
great.
good to know.
That's
Thank you for
awesome.
that.
I
to
love
see
trying new different food cuisines.
Oh, we would love to be able to travel
Yeah.
Yes.
like a lot. So the more we grow this channel, the more we grow what we do, the possibilities are endless,
Yes.
my friends.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Now that Mario movie is the highest grossing film of the year so far, that's wild.
Yeah.
Which movie? Mario movie, yes.
What video game would you like to see adapted on the big screen?
God of War.
Uh,
I haven't even played the game, but just what
I
I've
think
heard,
so.
that
I
would
think
be
so, too.
amazing
That'd be cool.
if they can pull it
Red-
off, the story.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
But they're saying the big screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm down for that too.
Oh, you're saying like a series. Actually, yeah, maybe a series works better. What
Probably
about
more like
yeah,
a
it's
series.
too, I
than
think.
What
yeah.
about
It's a
Zelda?
complex story.
Zelda? No,
no?
I not on the big screen. Not like the Mario movie. It needs to be a little bit
Yeah,
more
it needs to be
epic.
flushed
And
out.
the series is already so cinematic.
Yeah.
I mean, if they come out with something Zelda, I would go and see it. But as of right now, I'm not like losing sleep wondering when is Nintendo gonna release the next, the movie or the TV show. Like the games are already so cinematic and they've got the storytelling where it needs to be. So I think with Mario there was a little bit of room for creating some depth and really developing those characters. But with Zelda, like you already have that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely gonna be difficult to adapt. I would love to see it adapt, but I'm not losing sleep over it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and
God of War I think would be our
There are
answer.
some questions
Yeah.
above these
There
that
were.
I may
Let's
have
see here.
missed. Just keep.
Well, Mom, I have a
scrolling.
question for you while we look for these.
Okay.
Because we were talking about classic movies earlier.
Yes.
And what are some that you want to see? Because you didn't mention any. But I know there's a lot that you want to see too. With
Classic
us.
movies?
Yeah, movies that you saw that you never saw with us.
I've never seen Alien, so yeah, I want to see that one. Grease is like, the kids have never seen Grease or Footloose. I saw those.
Footloose. Beetlejuice, I would love to see with you guys.
Beetlejuice I've never seen.
Right.
Ever. So that's kind of shocking.
Yeah, it's actually Chris Wake literally just asked. I remember you guys watching Singing in the Rain a while back. Is there any interest in revisiting reacting to classics on the channel?
Yes.
Sending love from South Korea. We send love back.
Hey, South
Chris
Korea.
Wake.
Much
Send
love.
love.
What's the person's name?
Chris Wake.
Chris Wake.
Awesome.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I would love to share with you guys experience An American in Paris, another Gene Kelly
Yes, I want to see that one.
Yes.
classic.
We've never
There's a
seen
lot of
classics.
classic films.
I've never seen another movie of Gene Kelly
An
except for
American in
Singing in the
Paris.
Rain.
We need to see it.
So I want to see more.
There's also, it's a little Disney thing, but a Jack and the Beanstalk Gene Kelly thing.
Someone said Chinatown and Godfather and The Godfather.
Chinatown I've never seen it. Godfather is definitely on the list of things that we need to see. It's heavy. The girls, I think my love would probably not love that movie
which
as
one?
much. The Godfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good. It's really
not
good.
That they're
It's
not
good
good,
writing.
and I have nothing. I'm sorry if I offend people who love them, but it just stresses me out, and I don't. After a while of shooting and killing and shooting and killing, I'm like, okay.
It's well dispersed, but I think the tension it is very
I get
stressful.
very
And to
tense.
emotionally invest yourself in characters that are so like on the edge. It's like you don't know if you lose them or not. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's very tense and a lot of
It is.
emotional
Yes.
weight to. I would love to see it.
I will tell you though, when you watch that movie, and this is very subjective, this is not fact. When you watch it, you have the tendency. I definitely felt like my acting IQ and my directing IQ, my cinematic IQ just jumped like 15 points. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. So I think where did I see it?
That's another
comment?
question.
Well, we have not played Mega Man, but we'll that
He's
battle
played
war-
Mega Man on
Someone
Super
made a
Smash
joke.
Bros.
Someone made a joke, but not a joke. Where they were being serious about the Halo show, because when they asked about the video game,
Oh yeah.
someone was like, for them to make a true adaptation.
Because
For them
Okay.
Wow.
We haven't seen the
Certain
Halo
things
show.
like I don't know why people mess with things too much when
Well,
they adapt.
apparently God of War. That's what I was gonna say. God of War is
proper
already
Halo.
in the works by Amazon, and it'll be a series.
Wow. I did
So-
not know
that makes sense. Series is probably better.
Yeah.
I think so because you can flesh out all of the whole of their adventure and you don't miss details. You can be more literary with it. So I'd be down.
Who at Amazon is doing it?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't
That's a
know.
little concerning. Rings of Power.
Yeah.
That's another conversation.
That's another conversation.
for another
though.
night.
We don't have
That's
to-
another
Yeah.
live.
and we really don't have too much credibility there because we haven't read the books and all of them because
Yeah.
my father is reading the Lord of the Rings books. But
I've read
there's-
enough to tell you. I can't wait for what's coming next for Lord of the Rings. Next question.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And the other question, Mom, you mentioned it because you saw it earlier.
Yeah,
Someone
Harry
asked
Potter.
us about the Harry Potter announcement of the show, which people are obviously talking a lot about in terms of, the movies being enough, people being excited because they can actually dive into the books. And you guys were asking for our opinion. I'll start with you, Mom, because obviously.
I haven't really read a lot on the media about what's happening with those movies or what the shows entail. I do think it's hard to compete with what people already experienced as a franchise. It's very finicky, I think, when it comes to fans who love, like, I remember being a little depressed after the last movie because I was like, this is a phase of my life that's like over. Like, you just ride these movies and you really invest your heart into them, and then when they're over. And I don't know what storyline they're really going with. Are they doing more details of the same timeline?
So
Harry
is
Potter,
it
you
the
mean?
future of
from
Harry
what I
Potter?
heard, they're going from the plan, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dad, but it's to tell the Harry Potter story again. Correctly?
Yes. So they're basically wanting to
redo it.
and put every detail they can possibly put in
From the
book.
books.
And I think that's a curious thing that I would be interested in watching because I'm reading the books now. My lovely children got me that for my birthday, and it was like the best gift ever. But yeah, I think just from the first book I'm reading now, and I did read the last two books, there are a lot of things that are missed. But I think some of the characters have passed away, and I think replicating a new version of that is hard.
It's for a new age of kids and audience.
It's really important because those books are made such a huge impact too, and like, you know, creatively storytelling with books and movies. Like, it'll be very exciting, like, intriguing to see how they do it because it's already kind of set a standard. Because one, cinematically, too, was very well done. I know I only read a couple of the books. I'd like to revisit them because it's been a bit, but there definitely is a lot that was missed out in the books that were not shown in the movies. Because I had a weird mentality when I was on. I'm like, I'm going to watch the movies. I basically know what happens. So I didn't give as much of a chance to the books as I probably should have. Yeah. So I am planning on revisiting them.
Do we know
but I
the
do
audience that they're targeting?
I'm not sure.
I think there's. I think
it's gonna be on HBO Max.
Right,
Max
so that's
Max.
Just Max.
Yeah.
Because that was my thing. Is like, what is this show? What is it gonna feel like? What's the vibe?
I think
it needs, if it's gonna work.
It needs to be.
Sorry, you were probably gonna say this.
Yes, it needs to be accurate to the books and go for that magic that was there from the beginning of the first Sorcerer's Stone movie.
Yeah, it's a young audience book.
And reading the books, like, there is so much that they don't tap into in the books.
Yeah.
In the movies, I mean. Especially books like Prisoner of Azkaban and Order of the Phoenix, and I mean, those books are massive, and there's so many details that they can just intricately weave together. And from something else I read on it, it's supposed to be like 3 to 4 times longer than everything else we saw, which is crazy, is wild. But we know of watching movies even like Lord of the Rings that, you know, an extra hour here or there is a huge difference. So it's gonna be different, and obviously if you grow up with these people over the course of years, like
the ending, man.
Right. So
especially if you're with Harry for like what, 48 hours of.
There's a lot of potential. It's interesting because.
Well, you probably will also see how Harry got the scar. Like you probably will go into those little details that would mean so much. So I'm looking forward to it. I think as a fan, I'm gonna read the books so that I'm ready.
Well, it's so important too because those books are so great. I mean, I know this is another conversation. I'll just kind of hint at it a little, but I'm very excited about the Percy Jackson series coming out of Disney Plus. Like, that one looks really exciting as well. I think if they do it right, it's gonna be great because then people of all ages, whether they want to read the book or not. I don't know. I think it has a lot of good potential. It definitely needs to be done right, but I have faith that they can.
If Rick Riordan is smiling, it's gonna be great.
Right. Yeah. I'm not worried about the casting part with some of the cast members that have passed on, because also they're gonna obviously recast everything and everyone.
Harry Potter now.
But we're back on Harry Potter. Yeah, sorry. But I just wanted to remind all of us that we did lose, and from the first Harry Potter film into the second, we lost the actor who played Dumbledore. And the actor who came in was fantastic, and he kind of carried us through to the end. So whoever they bring on, as long as they really care about the source material, and I know J.K. Rowling is attached, kind of like somewhere loosely. Yeah. She doesn't have like a lot of decision power, it seems, which is a bit concerning, but only time will tell. Hopefully they'll honor
the biggest thing I will say. Material. Honor the source material. And we watched it, I think, during the reunion for the Harry Potter movies that they had on HBO Max, where Chris Columbus, the director of the first 2 movies, who was a big part of pitching it to, to the studios and J.K. Rowling, like his version of it is, J.K. Rowling felt like he saw it. He saw the vision, and there was a deep connection there. And of course, he didn't direct anything further than that because, it took a toll and all that. You could definitely look into it if you're a Harry Potter fan. But I still have to say that those movies, even if you watch them back, have a different feeling to them. There's a certain mystical, like magical air to them that the other ones don't have. At least not that they don't have them at all. It's just not. It's a different air. It's just different. Yeah. So I think if they tap into that and play with that a little bit more, you play with a little bit more of that fantastical high fantasy element of it. Then I think that could be very interesting, very fun. I think that would be very interesting to play with. So who knows? I think it's time. Only time will tell. You look at like a Rings of Power, and there's a lot of hype around it, and the shows they're still making it, and there's still a lot of time. I mean, there isn't a release date. They don't even have a cast. It's still very early days. So
and who's making it?
Right, who's making it? Who are the directors on board? So there's still a lot of unknowns.
Max is just releasing it.
Yeah, but the reality is there's the
that's
chance
Amazon.
of diving deeper into this character that everyone
For
loves.
Harry Potter is
Oh,
Max.
Harry Potter is Max.
That everyone loves. That a lot of people love, not everyone, but that a lot of people love, and I think there's a chance, like you said though, Mom, people love to go back and grow up, and I think a chance to be able to do that again in a new way with a new lens, I think would be interesting. So
Yeah.
Okay,
go see.
Mega Zero said, any of you think BTS might make songs for Sonic?
Bro,
that would be, I could see that.
that would be cool.
It would
Would
be
it-
a lot of fun.
Is that the
That'd be
question?
amazing.
Yes, Sega surprised us
That'd be
with
amazing.
one OK Rock from Frontiers. If
Oh,
BTS
cool.
making a song for a Sonic game or a movie,
I want that game.
it'll be a blast for sure.
I want to play.
And then,
Sonic Frontiers.
what did you guys check out the new
That would be
Star
really
Wars
cool to
Visions trailer from Gary Oak?
No,
We have not yet. Growth mindset, everybody.
We have not yet.
We will
Not
see
yet.
it. Derpy Entertainment. The Batman teaser was a while ago, so it is great that you've been with us since then.
Yeah.
Wow.
August
Thank you.
22nd of 2022.
That's crazy.
Hey.
That's such a long.
So that's
wow.
a
Oh no,
long
2020.
time.
I see some
2020.
Marked the date. Nice.
That's
Love
wild.
that. Appreciate
22nd
that.
was
August.
the day of the month.
Yeah, it's okay.
I see some people talking about Jedi Survivor. If we're excited
Ooh,
about it,
yes.
definitely excited. I haven't seen too many trailers on it, mainly because I want to just jump into the game. But seeing Cal Kestis again and seeing him grow and seeing him live action, I think would be kind of cool in some way. Just because the actor looks so much like it's not often that the actor in the character in the game looks a lot like the character in real life. Like it doesn't happen often. So when you have that, it works great. But okay, we can probably close with this question.
Yeah, last question.
Chris Wake, gotta go to work soon. But last question is for Jose. So, Jose, are you ready?
Now I am
Okay,
going.
now you're ready. Okay. Are there books you've read that have helped in your acting and directing endeavors? And have you watched Michael Caine's acting seminar on YouTube?
Michael Caine. If it's the same one that I seen, I think it's called Michael Caine on acting. If it's that one, and maybe someone just put it on YouTube, I actually saw that while I was working at the University of Central Florida Library in my senior year of college. It was part of my work study program, and working at the library, I had the luxury of having a lot of downtime. So I was literally getting paid to watch videos and every now and then help people out with computers and such. So one of those things I watched was Michael Caine on acting. Let's see, books that I've read that have helped me tremendously. Currently diving deep into Larry Moss.
The Intent to Live.
The Intent to Live, yes. Sanford Meisner on acting. Those are two pinnacle ones. Probably one of the more powerful things I've read that I read when I first started out is called The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. And then most recently, probably the most important thing I've read as an actor, as an artist, I would say life-changing, The Letter to Artists. It's not a book per se. It is a letter written by the former Pope of the Catholic Church, St. John Paul II. It's public domain, so if you look up Letter to Artist, you don't even have to be Catholic Christian. If that's not your belief system, that's totally fine. If you're an artist, read it.
Which all of us are.
I highly recommend you read it. Please consider that. So those are some of the things I've read, but I've read quite a few things that have really impacted me. The Matthew McConaughey book, Green Lights, has helped me a lot. As far as directing, I think directing, I've learned a lot from watching movies. A lot of movies. I pay attention and I rewatch things. I study as much as I can. I've watched a couple of videos on directing, like on YouTube and stuff. And I've seen a lot of classic movies. I studied film in college, so studied very in depth. I studied the director Mike Nichols, who directed all kinds of great films. Studied Stanley Kubrick in college, 2001: Space Odyssey, Citizen Kane, Orson Welles. So yeah, the list is long, but great question. Thank you for that.
That's that's the question.
Artists. Artie Sin. Said, "Whoa, I'm 2 hours late. New to channel. Much love from Norcal.
NorCal.
North
Yeah,
California.
North California, I believe.
Oh.
I believe that's what you're
That's
referring to. Yes,
not
but
Norcal.
it's okay that you're late. We're glad that you've joined us.
Yeah,
We're
it's-
closing up here now. We're actually gonna close up right now, but we're glad that we caught you right before we close here. But yeah, guys, that was kind of we're gonna kind of wrap up, kind of close up the Q&A here.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of getting late on this side, but and Kazi says, "Are you gonna continue the live? I'll come back to the next live because I don't really know anything about Star Wars. Lots of love from India.
That's all right.
Thank you for the love from
Kazi.
India. Sending love
Thank
to
you.
India as well.
Yes.
Yes, this
thank
is on
you.
Star Wars, and you were gonna say?
I was just gonna add to Kazi, love, thank you, love to India as well, and to
Yes.
you. If
Much love.
if we can get 1,000 subscribers to that MaJeliv India, we'll be able to go live on there as well. If that
Yes.
comes about a possibility, that'd be wonderful. So that's something to keep an eye for. But thank you for joining us tonight. And it's okay that you don't know a lot about Star Wars. We tend to sometimes lean into things that we're not entirely familiar with because we get to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
We've learned a lot from just the excitement that Josh has, for example, with Zelda. So hopefully the excitement we have for Star Wars will intrigue you enough to just maybe watch the first one. That was made in 1977, which changed the lives of so many people. Fun fact, Kazi, if you didn't know this, there's a well-known director known as James Cameron who was a truck driver when he saw Star Wars, and it made him go into the movie business. And aren't we glad he did? Because then he gave us some of the most memorable
we
movies.
wouldn't have
Oh.
Avatar, we wouldn't have
Avatar.
Titanic.
One of the movies I want to share these guys is Abyss, The Abyss,
Ooh, yes,
also by
Abyss.
James Cameron.
Didn't see that.
But anyway,
Yeah.
no other questions? We didn't miss anything else?
That was it. I think that's
That's
it. Well, at
Cool.
least if there are, we'll have to just hold them for the
Yeah,
next
'cause
one.
we do have to
Yes.
close
But,
up before.
We will be
Gets
doing more
late.
lives, hopefully.
Yes, no,
Yes,
we'll
so-
definitely stay tuned for our live after the Mandalorian season 3 finale. Definitely will have things to talk about then. There's a lot I'm sure that we're going to have to unpack and kind of look into, and just another way to, again, connect with you guys. And we'll probably get into some gaming streams as well. Me and Josh played Mario Bros. A couple days ago. Yeah, a couple days ago. I
More
think.
than a week.
I don't remember now.
Oh, yeah, a couple days ago. That
couple
was
days
this
ago.
week.
Yeah, it's crazy. Time flies.
Yeah.
But yes, so looking to get into that as well. But we've been loving to do these streams with you guys. Again, your support here today means a lot to us. If you guys are interested in supporting our channel even more and becoming a more dedicated supporter, you guys can check out our MaJeliv memberships on this channel by clicking that join icon or by becoming a patron. We don't have a link right now. It'll be in the description. You guys can check it out on our homepage. You guys will have a way to check our Patreon through there. But just know you guys have two options if you guys want to kind of, dedicate to supporting us monthly through our Patreon or our YouTube membership. But you guys being here today, regardless, means a lot to us. So thank you. We
Yes.
love this time with you guys, to connect with you, to hear your voices, to hear what you guys have to say.
Yes.
It just means a lot to us, and we look forward to doing it more often. So
Yeah.
see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned, and we can't wait to talk Star Wars again with you all very soon. Have a MaJeliv day. Go out there, spread your light. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Chris.